Whoa, we don't need to do that intro. Get back. Go back to the main page. Hello, everybody. How's your Wednesday evening going? Let's get back up to the main page here. 3 a.m. bacon? That sounds amazing. Anyone else do that all the time where you just wake up in the middle of the night and decide, you know what, I want some breakfast food? Eggs and bacon. Absolutely. Hey there, director. How was everything going? Nice to see you could make it. Hey there, Chloe. Hey there, Cats. Cameron. Trey and Rain. Don't worry, Dylan. I'm actually, this entire week, I've been working on Psychonauts. I put up a post earlier over the weekend. I was taking a break over the weekend, so nothing came out on Sunday. But there was a new direction I wanted to take with the script for the new Psychonauts video, so I went ahead and I'm currently making a few changes to finalize it. Hey there, John. How was everything going? It started at 9:31. Oh, I apologize. Technically, there's some time dilation going on here, so maybe that's what's going on. Who knows? Alrighties. So how is everybody doing? I want to wait a little bit before we actually get started on this. Whoop, let me turn down the volume on my other computer real quick. I don't want to randomly start screaming at me. Little sleepy? Well, let's see if we can get some scares in there and get the blood and the adrenaline pumping. You've never heard of the game before, John? Oh, you are in for a treat. If you haven't, I'd recommend getting caught up on the first 3 episodes, just so you know what's going on, because this is a very story-driven narrative, and it's a psychological thriller mystery style. So this episode is literally where a lot of the information dumps happening for what's going on. You're gonna disappear soon since school's a pain. School is always a pain. I don't know why Alan can't just sleep. That would probably solve a lot of his problems, let's be 100% honest. For sure, for sure. Alright, so before we hit on to the continue and get our previously on Dragon Ball Z segment, I just wanted to throw in a little bit of what we know up until now, because I don't think, for some reason, I did not mention it at all. I'm pretty sure at this point it could be guessed this is the situation, but I never actually commented on it. I've been having a hard time of, when we do know the information, commenting on it because I'm trying to avoid spoilers, but there's not a spoiler anymore. So basically, at some point in time in the 1970s, the 2 characters, Thomas Zane and Barbara Jagger, Barbara Jagger drowned in the lake, Tom deceased while during a volcanic explosion. And as of right now, the light that has been following Alan around is what became of Zane, and the old woman in the funeral dress that is the dark presence is what remains of Barbara Jagger. So the former lovers are now the opposite sides of this entire conflict. So yeah, they've frequently been commenting that like for example, he the light mentions my Barbara in reference to that character. So that's something that's, again, already been established, but I never really commented on. But that being said, we're going to get into the next big section of the game. Yeah, mind blown, Yithian. And we're going to get more information on that and as we go. But before we get going, as Dakoba has mentioned, there are going to be no spoilers for the ending of the story in chat. And if you do want to discuss anything of that nature, once the VOD goes up, we can talk in the comments. But for right now, I'm going to keep my lips shut and only bring things up as they come about organically. Oh, you finished up episode 3 yesterday? Very cool. How are you liking it so far? How do we know Alan isn't just schizophrenic? Doesn't just have... Well, let's get started on this and we'll see how that goes. Oh, you're back, Troll King. Hi.
Previously
Yes.
on Alan Wake, I'm hunted by the law.
Sheriff, Wake's running. I'm giving chase.
Are you seriously telling me that Ryder just took out my deputies?
A thriller I supposedly wrote is coming true. The genre of the story seems to be shifting. It's turning into a horror story. I was told that Alice had been kidnapped, but that was a lie.
We don't have his wife. We don't know where she is.
Her purported kidnapper was eaten up by the dark presence before it attacked me.
The truth.
Alan, shh, baby. It was just a nightmare.
Alice. Hartman, I fell.
I had to give you a sedative. Don't fight it. You went through another rough period.
What?
Right now, it's very important that you stay calm. We don't want you to have another episode. You're a patient at my clinic. Have been for a while now. The shock of your wife's death triggered a mental illness.
No, you're lying.
You're suffering from various symptoms of undifferentiated schizophrenia.
It's okay, Alan.
There you go, Stove.
Just let go.
One step ahead of the script. Hey there, Donnie. Thank you so much. I can't express how wonderful that makes my evening. Thank you so much for saying that.
I felt groggy. Whatever Hartman had bumped in me was making me numb. I felt like this was happening to someone else. Someone I was watching on television. I couldn't think. Couldn't focus.
Okay, real quick, I need to switch this over to performance mode on the Streamlabs, and we are back. Hey there, Bird. How you doing? I'm actually pretty sure someone has made physical copies of all the manuscript pages. And weirdly enough, there's a lot more manuscript pages that are not in the game, but you can find it in the Alan Wake files. Which
Good
is
evening,
cool.
Alan. Are we feeling better now? Feeling calm?
Yeah. I see you brought your pet gorilla with you. So sure, I'm calm. I get the message. Loud and clear.
Quite right. That's the spirit. You're being very brave, Alan. I understand you're confused. I would be more concerned if you weren't suspicious of me. I don't blame you for it.
Big of you.
Now, why don't you come with me? We'll reacquaint you with my clinic and go over everything you might have forgotten. Little walk and some fresh air? Yes, it will do you good.
Perfect timing. At the end, you get to experience it the first time and experience it with some
This
updated
corridor is for
graphics
patients.
and some
Most of
updated
them are here
content.
Right now. Jack took them out for a fishing trip, except for the ones who are particularly vulnerable, of course. I encourage creativity as a part of the recovery process here at Cauldron Lake Lodge. I specialize in treating artists.
I bet you do.
Splendid, Alan. I honestly believe we can get this thing under control if we work together. This way, Alan.
Give me a second. We're going to wander around. So it's not based on any specific book, but there's a lot of themes from both Stephen King's Misery. There's a little bit of The Shining in here, but mostly it feels like Misery. Emerson. Night Springs poster. Very cool. He also has a Night Springs either DVD by the looks of it, and there is a poster for Death Rally, which oddly enough is Remedy's very first game they ever made. It was like a weird racing shooter game from what I remember. I actually do have the novelization. I've read it on occasion as I'm playing through. So Lane, this is another patient here. And by the looks of everything in here, he is a painter. You're an artist as well? Well, anyone who's an artist, you will absolutely adore the type of themes they have on here. And here is the Andersons' room, which is unfortunately locked. Nice posters also. Hartman sure loves his patients. Does oh, he absolutely wants to do everything to help his
Alan,
patients
from
out.
Past experience with you, I know I need to get right into the heart of the matter as quickly as I can after an episode. So I'm just going to say this. Alice is dead.
No.
You're in a very vulnerable state until you understand and accept this. Alice drowned, and you couldn't face that. You're suffering from hallucinations, paranoid delusions, unusual thinking, an obsession about light and darkness, a feeling that everything revolves around you, your thoughts and dreams. Your mind has constructed an elaborate fantasy scenario in which your writings are affecting reality. She has been kidnapped, and supernatural forces of darkness are trying to stop you. We go this way, Alan.
I wasn't ready for another shot, so I went along with it. He had to be lying. But under the influence of the drug he had given me, I had to fight not to believe his words.
It's all in your head. You've been making it up. Apart from the tragic accident with your wife, no one has been killed. Your delusions are just a manifestation of your subconscious mind trying to protect you from the too painful truth.
I'm going to try to avoid talking right here because it's a lot of dialogue.
It will return. I know the instinct is to resist me, but think about it. Doesn't this make far more sense than the insane supernatural conspiracy you have concocted in your mind? You're a skeptic by nature, Alan. We both know this. Everything can be explained logically.
I'm going to wait here for a second. So if you remember, we discussed quite a bit in the episode 1 of this that technically everything Alan's been experiencing could be chalked up to a sleep deprivation psychosis, which there's a lot of themes in the game about, again, sleep deprivation. His main collectibles are coffee thermoses. Whoa! Which, again, is going to keep you up. His name, literally, the initials is Awake. And Barry has mentioned that he has sleep disturbances and issues passing out, so who knows? The text is becoming readable? Should be good. Oh, no worries, Banana. Let's keep going. So before we go over there, let's take a look at the sundial. Not much, Amkara. Basically, we woke up in this clinic, and Dr. Hartman here is telling us that Alice actually died and drowned in the lake, and we are exhibiting signs of schizophrenia and delusional disorders, that we're actually hallucinating the entire situation, and we've been a patient here for a very long time. I actually have not seen Total Recall, but I understand the plot of it. But anyway, so if anyone is curious, beyond the shadow you settle for, there is a miracle illuminated. TZ, in memory of a dear friend and a poet, Thomas Zane. And that poem should be very recognizable for anybody who has played Control. A pen and inkwell? That's a nice design for it, I guess.
I never get tired of this view. Very inspiring, isn't it?
Cauldron Lake spread below us. I could see Mirror Peak on the other side of the lake. I thought I could make out the spot where Diver's Isle had been when I arrived with Alice. Now there was nothing but waves.
It seems there's a storm coming. Funny, I don't recall there being a mention of that in the weather forecast. Well, no matter. This way. Follow me.
And no, I think his arms are just always in that position.
Alan,
He's a
what
very
I'm telling you
stiff
is good
character.
news. Right now, we're in control. Every time you have a relapse, it gets more and more difficult to resurface from the dark depths of your imagination. Not surprising, considering your profession. Imagination is what you work with. After all your nightmares, this should come as an immense relief to you. If it doesn't, why is that? Because I'm lying? Or because you don't want to admit that you're not well? It's very natural for you to think of me as your enemy. It's part of the illness.
I let him talk.
After all,
Hartman
I'm the
obviously
one
loved
trying
his
to
own
bring you
voice.
out of the
His
world
words
you've
echoed
constructed
madly
for
inside
yourself.
my head.
But
I
can't
dug my
do
nails
it
into
by
the palms of my
myself.
hands to stay
You need
focused.
to work with me. Once you accept that, we can begin the journey towards your recovery.
Alright, give me a second. I just want to check something real quick. I still got, yeah, I don't know why. It just seems a little fuzzy to me. No, Rodin, I have not seen
Come along.
Total Recall.
Let's go inside.
Oh, hi there, buddy.
Here's the entrance to the office wing. That's for staff only. You were impressed by my trophies when you first arrived here. I do love to hunt. The great outdoors, man versus nature. It's wonderful stuff.
Pretty damn wonderful, yeah.
He seems to always walk like that. It's just a quirk of his, I guess.
Scary, scary.
Emerson,
Take it easy, director. Sleep well, man.
I'm a real bad dream.
Or morning.
Mister.
I guess
You
it's
should
early
be
in the day.
afraid of me. Don't want to run into me in the night, that's for sure.
please, Emerson. Mr. Wake is confused enough as it is.
Yeah, you'd like me to go away so you won't be scared. But you can't just decide what kind of dream you have or when you have it.
Emerson,
Okay. Sorry. Boo.
that's Emerson. We're actually making some progress. I'm happy to say. He works on
Elbow
video
strike.
games.
Ooh, yeah.
It's trash, of course, but it does
I'll get
involve
him
some
to the head.
small creative effort, which makes him receptive to my therapeutic methods.
No kidding.
I love how he's like, yeah, he works on video games. It's total trash, but you know. Okay, Emerson.
Now, you might have noticed the typewriter in your room. You've been writing as a part of the therapy. As soon as you feel up to it, you should continue.
And this is Wendy Desolé. She's a former vocalist, and going along with the themes of Scandinavian stuff, she was just singing The Flight of the Valkyrie. One plot hole to push on my sheriff and Agent Naga. There's no way she would try to call Spears after. She would try and call his Spears after everything he's done. Right. That's a normal thing for a local department to say. Who's in charge here? Anyways, this is Rudolph Lane. He was the painter.
Hello. I've painted you.
Okay.
I was just struck by inspiration a couple of days ago. Dr. Hartman wanted me to paint landscapes, and that's what I was doing. But now I've been doing these things, a lot of them. The images just keep coming. Dr. Hartman likes them. He has them in his office.
Yeah?
He's very proud of me. He says I'm getting much better. I think I'm getting better. Well, I guess I'd better start wrapping this up. The storm is almost here. Look at that. I'd hate to be out there tonight.
So yeah, this guy couldn't actually produce any form of art, and then mysteriously, the moment that Alan shows up, he starts painting a bunch of random items, and all the artwork seems to be directly related to what Alan's experiencing. Coincidentally. Can you throw the doctor off the balcony? I would love to. I am 100% with you all that Dr. Hartman needs a good punch in the face, which actually, technically, Alan already broke his nose. That's why he has a bandage over it. So we've already punched him in the face. Okay, Emerson, stop doing your kung fu over here. Or do whatever you want, I'd say. You're good. Creator's Dilemma. The engaging new book by Dr. Emil Hartman, the author of the best-selling Creative Flow, his groundbreaking techniques, the engagement therapy, trademarked, and the flow, trademarked, explained in his own words. Now available in bookstores. I want to punch him again. I really want to punch him again, too. There's actually some sections of the Creator's Dilemma. I think the introduction is in the Alan Wake files. You can read it. Has Alan... Shh, Mr. Black... Shh, we're literally about to walk into that. That's actually pretty beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, you. Frickin' Birch over here. Let's read this real fast. Welcome to Cauldron Lake Lodge. We're here to give you a specialized help you need. However, please observe the following. Please ask friends and families to schedule visits beforehand to ensure they don't interfere with your therapy and or periods of creativity. Also, please respect your fellow patients' need for privacy and personal space, especially when they're engaged in their creative processes. Yeah, no spoilers at all, even if it's literally 30 seconds away. Roll at 3 and punch it through off the balcony. Okay. The dining room. Here we go.
My rheumatism's killing
These two we met in the diner at the beginning of the game.
There's a storm coming. Oh, what a storm.
I hope it wipes this place off the face of the earth.
And these two are the Anderson brothers, Odin and Tor. They had a should I put this? A heavy metal band in the 70s and 80s called Old Gods of Asgard. They even adopted new first names to complete the image of Viking gods. After the band broke up, they lived on a farm nearby. They are, well, in advanced stages of dementia. They're well cared for, TLC and all that.
Squeaky hammer with Thor over here.
I'm afraid that the rock and roll lifestyle has left its mark.
Oh, that won't do. I'm so sorry to cut this short for now, Alan. The power has been acting up. I'd better go check on it. We'll continue this soon. Meanwhile, when you feel up to it, return to your room and try to write. It really is for the best. Don't you think?
Break his nose again, please. Please. Poets of the Fall? No, old gods.
Bash his head in with a hammer.
Same here, Thor.
He'd love to fish out our secrets, but he has no clue. He's not crazy enough. Not crazy like us, Sonny. Yeah! Being crazy's a requirement, Sonny. Who else could understand the world when it's like this? It takes crazy to know crazy.
That's the sanest thing I've heard in a while.
Say, you're all right, Tom. Hey, we like him, don't we, bro? He's
Tom?
gotta go to the farm.
The Anderson Farm. Valhalla!
We wrote it all down, lest we to forget. A crash course. All you need to know to get your head right. You need to find the message.
Here, Sonny, here's something for you. Gave me a rash, but I kept it safe from these bastards.
My head was clearing up.
These
Or
boys
clearing
right
up.
here.
I was
Again,
sinking back
if you know
into
Control,
events.
you know these
I
gentlemen.
was convinced he was lying to me about everything. Crazy or not, the Andersons made more sense.
Tom, you got any booze on you?
My name's not Tom.
Yeah, no.
We
Sorry,
have a
guys.
stash of the special stuff at the farm. Our own formula. Local ingredients. Medicine clears your head right up. Makes you remember like moonbeams on the brain.
I'd love it.
Oh, I just noticed. Leather patches on the elbows? That's not very rock and roll.
I'm a writer. I need them.
Just lost is all. Baba Yaga got to him too, the damn witch.
She used us all. Taken from all of us. Took my thunder, the witch.
And my ravens, what were they? Memory and thought, the hag.
She took something from you too, didn't she? That's what she does.
We're better off. This place, the lake, it gives you power. If you're a creator, an artist, a god.
Nightmare shifted in their sleep in the darkness of the lake.
Yeah, that's the one. She makes sure it comes out twisted and wrong. Just ask the lamp lady. She knows what happened to that other rider.
She's been using you, boy, and you let her. You went and opened the door for her, didn't you?
Now, it was already open a crack. And whose fault is that? We're morally corrupt, disease-ridden, old and stupid.
Doesn't mean he had to open it all the way, goddammit.
Okay, and there's a little bit left, but I think that's the major focus of this here.
Built the
Hold on.
farm close to the lake. A place of power.
Place of power. That phrasing, again, if you're familiar with Control, you'll know what that means right there. So there was a lot to digest right there in that conversation here. So they reference Baba Yaga directly, which, as we've established earlier, is directly related to Barbara Jagger, as well as the Scratching Hag, as mentioned before. On top of that, they claim that the Baba Yaga, the Barbara Jagger, the Dark Presence took his Raven's memory and thought. Now, think about it at the end of the day. If your memory and thought were removed from you, like literally speaking, how would that react, or how would you behave? You would have a very similar reaction to them, a form of dementia. So is it possible that by having his raven stolen, he developed dementia as a result. And the common expression, they took my thunder. That's just old age right there speaking. At the end of the day. Not only that, but there's a lot more. But before we do anything, let's listen to this manuscript which they gave us.
Zane could feel the poems, taking form, shaping things. As he experimented, he imagined he could almost feel the power surging through the keys of the typewriter. It exhilarated him. But there was fear, too. If not for his young assistant Emil, he would have given it up. But Emil convinced him otherwise. He, too, had a way with words.
So Thomas Zane at one point... So, in case we haven't gotten the implication here, is that if you're an artist and you try to create an act of creation around the lake, there's an energy here. It's a place of power, and it literally will make it come true. It'll make your art a reality. And what happened is Alan's sitting here. His writings are literally... It seems like they're predicting reality, but it's possible they're creating it. But in that dialogue, or in that manuscript right there, there's a gentleman named Emil who happened to work with Thomas Zane at one point in time. And we do know an Emil. His name is Dr. Emil Hartman. Hartman here knew Zane back in the 70s.
But I don't see nightmares anymore because I'm too scary for them. I take 2 pills every morning. And
I love this rant here.
And 4 when I go to bed. And that makes me the scariest nightmare of all.
There is some new stuff in the novelization, but it's technically non-canon. There's a few things that I would consider works well, but... we missed most of his dialogue, unfortunately. Damn it, because we spent too much time in the hallway. Anyways, so, Emerson here has some dialogue basically complaining, because he was a video game designer, complaining at how the producers and the designers kept trying to rewrite what he was trying to do, and they tried to make the game he was working on. It's not about the story, it's not about the craft, it's about the mullet time, as he put it, the mullet time. It's all about the mullet time. That's all that mattered to them. It's not supposed to be about mullets. It's supposed to be about something else, but they made it this way. And it's just a rant literally about how Max Payne was the bullet time. They were heralded as one of the first games to use that mechanic. But we missed the entire thing, unfortunately. Reading Alan Wake files right now and had forgotten about it for a while. Yep. It's a lot of work.
Hey, Wake, why don't you humor Dr. Hartman and give the writing a shot, huh? Typewriter's in your room. You can get to your room by those stairs, Wake.
Yes, bullet time. He kept saying mullet, like the hairstyle, but he's referring to bullet time. Possible implication that Emerson might have been working on the original Max Payne game in Alan Wake lore, weirdly enough.
Something's wrong. I'm not myself. It's hard to think that there's a shadow inside my head. I can only focus on writing. Everything else is a blur. I'm trapped in this cabin. Have been for days, but it's always dark outside. My editor is real. I saw her again. She's not human. It's not human. A dark presence is wearing the old woman's face. She was covered in clinging shadows. There's a hole in her chest where her heart should be. I think I've made a horrible mistake. I don't think I'm any closer to saving Alice. It's been lying to me, using me to get the story it wants, and the story will come true.
So there's going to be a lot of information drops in this one, but again, we talked about previously that the Baba Yaga Dark Presence was becoming his editor. And if a work of art ends up being created into reality, whoever edits it and controls the end product gets what they want at the end of the day.
But I figured I should just play along for now. It was the only thing I could do with Nurse Birch watching me like a hawk.
And before we move onwards, we have our last QR code right here. I just love we have the regular knight and the white knight here, but we have our last QR code. So I'm going to scan that real fast. All right. So this here, again, oh yes, I know, the shocked face and the oh frick. There's a lot. This episode's called The Truth, so there's going to be a lot of information dropped. But before we move onwards, I'm going to give the warning here. These QR codes do take you to a place that is not part of the original game, and they will heavily spoil not just the ending of this story, but also stuff that's going on in Control and the AWE DLC. So I'm going to give you a 10-second warning if you do not want to hear any of these spoilers. Turn off your audio, look away. I will pause the game, and as soon as I unpause it is when you are free and open to come back into it, okay? Just the advance warning, so again, you have been warned. And this is the audio for it.
A beginning. A primordial forest. The colors of the fall. The mist. A caldera lake. Silence echoes. Loud. It's too late to hear the words. The man, naked, crawls to the shore. Like a birth? To say that would be a lie. Nothing like a birth. The opposite. He staggers to his feet. A carcass of a deer lies on the shore, rotting amidst driftwood. The man is afraid, beside himself. Who is he? He doesn't himself know. Dark waves have washed it away. A blank page where this horror story will be written. He remembers darkness, feels the shadow pressing down on him, coming after him. He must get away. He runs to the forest, to a fate worse than death.
And we are back. Alan Wake is on drugs. It's very possible. Barry accused him of being on drugs. Oh, this rambling here. It makes perfect sense if you know the story. Tom, have you played the game? I gave a warning just in case. But basically, these QR codes link out to a YouTube video that's unlisted on the Remedy's official page, and they are intended to be visions. So they're only intended for those who already know the story. If you've never played it before, I gave full warning with why not to check it out. But anyways, we're back. We're done with that. We are moving on, and I will be talking about a lot of those in the future. Nope, I have not seen, or sorry, you're talking to Roden, but no, I haven't seen Venom 2 yet either. Oh boy, Spider-Man No Way Home. I cannot wait. That'll be a lot of fun. And if we have the full freaking... if we have the entire crossover that we're expecting, that will be amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay, so this is Emerson again. He's the video game guy, and this is our room. Let's head on in.
The white glare of the blank page in front of me hurt my eyes.
It's unlisted, Katam, so you'll have to find a link of it online
my hands
somewhere.
Began to shake uncontrollably.
Hey, Wake, you stay here. I'm gonna go see what's up. You just keep doing what you're doing. Be cool, okay?
I didn't know what the chaos was all about, but it could be my only chance of getting out of here.
Where the hell did he get a damn hammer?
I don't know.
Whoa, we're gonna listen to that in a second.
Brothers, are ya? Not so weak now.
Sinclair looked bad. That wasn't a love tap. The crazy old fart hit her hard. If she was one of Hartman's goons, she had it coming. I could get the key to the office wing from Sinclair.
So, yeah, Thor literally just grabbed a hammer and knocked her ass out. Jesus Christ. They're not fucking around here. Control hasn't played Control the 4th time until this came out. Thank you so much, Joseph. Yeah, I have. Honestly, I've only played through Control 3 times. I fully intend to do a stream of it at some point, though.
Hartman kept talking, giving Barry the grand tour, clearly proud of the place. He went on and on about his hunting trophies, and Barry was impressed. But he was here on business. He raised his voice, cut through the monologue. Hey, Hartman, where's Al? Hartman stopped in mid-sentence, annoyed at the interruption. He nodded at the hulking orderly standing nearby. The man smiled and clapped a practiced hand on Barry's shoulder.
So if we again trust this as reality, Barry's here somewhere.
I had to get to Hartman's office. He had taken all my manuscript pages. That's where he'd been keeping them.
It's time to pay the piper.
These old guys are going nuts!
Maybe you could come out and beat our wrinkled adult diapered asses.
Yeah, yes, Tacoba. Alan is starting to rapidly not give a crap. And just another bit of evidence why he shouldn't.
The photo on the wall caught my attention. In it, the clinic staff was standing outside the lodge. I knew the man next to Hartman. He was the kidnapper. Hartman had been playing me all along.
Mott here mentioned that when he was about to be absorbed into the tornado and thrown off, that him and the boss didn't know who they were messing with. Well, they pretend this is the boss right here. Moving onwards. So in here, again, I'm going to be your tour guide. Here is
the tape said they were recordings
I'll pause.
Hartman had made at the sessions with his patients. I saw Alice's name on one of them. For a moment, I couldn't breathe right.
Before we listen to that, here are all the paintings that Rudolph Lane was making. And some of these are they're actually pretty incredible. So we got some Taken here and some other stuff. A few wolves, which could be related to the wolves of the Ragnarok. Who knows? Looking at the pictures, they become reality. Exactly.
Hartman wasn't happy. Mott could see it in his eyes. He quickly lowered his own. He had made a mess of it, and he knew it. The shame of failure was hard to bear. He hadn't expected Wake to say he needed more time, and he blurted out 2 days, less than Wake had asked for, to show him who was in charge. But that wasn't part of Hartman's plan.
That was not part of Hartman's plan. So they don't go too far into it here, but Mott kind of lives for Hartman's approval, and he's not very smart. We mentioned earlier that his grammar is terrible, his spelling's terrible, he's always messing it up, and he doesn't think very far ahead. Oh, same here, Joseph. We'll talk about that when I get there. The doctor is the patient. He killed the OG doctor and took over. Oh boy. Okay, so there's going to be a tape here which will answer a few questions and set the tone for a few things.
Now, Mrs. Wake, can you tell me about Alan's problems?
He's more and more out of control all the time. The parties, he's so angry all the time. He's getting violent.
Do you mean with you?
No, not with me. No, never. Sometimes I almost wish Alan would take a swing at me, because at least that lead to a conversation he couldn't just march out of. But no. Alan doesn't really sleep. And the work, well, he's not writing at all. He sits there for hours and just gets more and more frustrated. And I can't talk to him.
Yes. Tell me, Mrs. Wake, what would you say to him if he'd listen?
I don't know. I want to say, I look at you, and it's not you. Just some stranger who resembles you. Looking out from behind your eyes, and I don't like that guy much. And now it's all gonna go to hell.
But you don't ever say this.
No. I've tried, but he's not listening. He's too deep in his own problems, always going on about something else. I'm so afraid I'm gonna lose him, and we're not even talking anymore. He doesn't let me in anymore. He just keeps me in the dark. I'm so alone here, even when he's home. Please help me, Doctor, because I'm at my wit's end.
Well, if you can just get him here, I'll absolutely do my very best.
Yeah, but Doctor, you need to be careful with him. He's not just going to listen to you and cooperate. He's the most stubborn man I've ever met.
Well, I'll be sure to bear that in mind.
Hearing her voice, what she was saying made me happy and sick and guilty all at once. Worst of all, I recognized the words. The phone call from her. It had been a cut-up of this. Just a recording.
Yep. You're absolutely right, Roden. So when Alice called us in the previous episode, it was actually... They took this entire recording, cut it up, made a freaking basically a recreation of it, and then called Alan with it to try to trick him to thinking that she was talking to him. So this doesn't really have much of an impact later in the story. It just sets the tone. And it gets back to a conversation we had in episode 1 regarding Alice tricking Alan to come here in the first place, claiming, oh, we're going on vacation so you can stop thinking about your writing. And that's what Alan was looking forward to quite a bit at the end of the day. And when she sprung the typewriter on him, that's when he exploded, ran outside, and she ended up collapsing into the lake. And it's... In my opinion, I try not to take sides in this situation because it's obviously very volatile on all ends, but all she was doing was trying to do the best she could to help her husband out. And Alan has way too much internal issues that he's basically felt like she was pushing him into a corner that he didn't want to confront, so he, hey, fight or flight response. Ran out and screamed at her. Don't worry, Joseph. A lot of people haven't played this game yet, so you're perfectly fine. And we're intentionally not commenting on spoilers in the game just for that reason, so you can have the best experience. But yeah, it's an overreaction. But I can see it from both sides, 100%. His reaction wasn't necessary, but from his perspective, it's to prevent himself from additional anxiety. So he's running away from more trauma, but she's just trying to help him at the same time. So it's just a bad situation all around. But we have 2 more recordings here.
Rudolph Lane's case is interesting. He was completely blocked, and frankly, I was about to discard him as useless. However, once Wake arrived and started writing, something changed in Rudolph. He's producing extraordinary work, increasingly dark pieces. Unfortunately, he doesn't respond to direction at all, and it's my belief that he's not so much a creator as an illustrator, perhaps, a recorder of sorts. I hadn't considered the existence of such a role before, let alone its implications, but the paintings he has produced are informative. At least he's easily controlled and useful. I wish I could say the same about Wake. It's frustrating that the best subjects are always so damn difficult to deal with.
So again, that's the painter we saw out on the balcony. So as soon as Alan showed up in town, he started making these paintings. And Hartman's hypothesis is that Lane is not necessarily a creator like Alan or Zane or any of these other artists, the Andersons, for example, but more that he takes a pre-existing creation and illustrates it. He helps to bring it into the light of consciousness or the light of the world, so to speak. But the question comes about, how did Lane know what to paint? He saw it as inspiration hitting him, but he was unconsciously drawing something that another artist already created. How does that physically work in this cosmology? That's a deeper question. I have a video on that that whole conversation, which I think it's under Fate versus Destiny, I believe is the title of that one. And yeah, I know Alice did 100% trick him. And let's be honest, if she said, hey, let's go over here so you can go see a doctor, Alan would have said, fuck you, no, we're not. In her mind, this was literally lying to him was literally the only way to get him here, and in her mind, get him help. It's less to do with the fear of typewriters. He just has a writer's block. And we have one last tape.
I'm buying that. I was tailing Wheeler, and this is the only place he could have gone. That means Wake is probably there too.
Agent Nightingale, this is private property, and I will not allow you to disturb my patients.
Yeah? I can get a warrant. How would your fragile little patients like that?
Oh, I'm thoroughly intimidated by your mighty authority now, Agent.
Listen, you smug snob. How would you like it if I busted through this gate and knocked you around a little?
Agent Nightingale, first of all, I'm recording this conversation, so you might want to watch what you say. Secondly, you're not dealing with a hick now. I know the law, and if you can get a judge to grant a warrant, I'll be glad to cooperate. But you won't get one. Be advised that any further communications with me are to be made through my lawyer.
I don't believe this.
Good day, Agent.
Yeah.
All things considered, Hartman handled Nightingale perfectly. I don't like either of them. I hate both of them, but that's besides the point. If anything... Yeah, he needed to record evidence, and as long as most of the time, I think for most states, as long I don't know if I'm babbling. I don't know if Washington is a two-party consent state or not. Either way, Hartman did notify him that he was being recorded, so it is admissible in court. In two-party consent states, you can't record somebody without their knowledge and then present it as evidence in a court case. In one-party consent states, you can. But since this is private property, I'm pretty sure it's a moot point, but whatever. Okay. Hey, Barry, chill out, bro.
Do you have any idea how much trouble you're in? I am famous.
Barry?
Why is the cutout here?
About time. Barry, man, I'm glad to see you. We need to get to Hartman's office.
It's right next door.
You okay?
Yeah. I mean, no. The cops found me at Rose's trailer, but they didn't hassle me too much. I'm obviously a victim in this, and I demanded to be treated as such. Or else I'd sue their asses. Speaking of asses, that
it's
thing
possible
gave me a
that
real
Sam
hard
Lake was
time,
writing from
but I had no
experience with the
clue where
story.
they were. That guy's crazy out. But he let
Are you
me
going
go,
out, dog?
and then I get a call from Hartman, that son of a bitch, who tells me you're here, and I should come pick you up, but when I got here, 2 goons clobbered me and stuck me in there.
What's with the cutout?
I stole it from the diner to piss off Rose after what she did to us. That'll teach her.
Yeah, that's a harsh punishment. Come on, now, we gotta get going.
Sorry about that. The dog literally was trying to fight to get out. Washington two-party consent state. Good to know, okay? He runs past to get his coffee. Yeah, I just run right past him. Just as... Well, I don't see the spoilers. It's just in terms of writing style. He loves to say Alan's his favorite character. Well, let's be honest, Alan probably is his Sam Lake stand-in for who he empathizes with the most as a writer. But let's go.
These were all the pages I had on me. And more.
Alan, please. You're sliding back into the...
Tell me one more lie and I'll shoot you in the face.
Ah, well, it was worth a shot. Really, Wake, come on. Let's work together on this. You have no idea...
Hartman, shut up! Barry, get out of here. I'll catch up with you. Get a car.
Oh, Al, let's just...
Go!
We've had enough of your shit, man.
This is a mistake. Don't you see? Together we can create something absolutely wonderful. With your ability and mine.
Sorry, did I laugh? Looks like he's grinning too. Oh yeah, with how Control is set up, they can do pretty much anything they want with this universe.
I had to find a way out.
Alright, we gotta get out of here now. Dark Presence found us. We're getting beat up. See, that's the question. We don't really know specifically what Hartman's trying to create. We cannot go into his office right now. But the implication, again, here is... If you're a creator, you can create things while you're around the lake. Hartman is not a creator. He's incapable of doing this for himself. So he needed to get artists who are capable, bring them into one place that just happens to overlook this place of power called Cauldron Lake, and manipulate them to do what he wants, to only create what he wants to have made. As the old saying goes, evil cannot create, it can only corrupt and destroy. Thank you so much, SC84. I'm glad you enjoy them. Alright, we're gonna have to keep doing this until we get clear of the other side. plagiarism, maybe. Well, it's just editing, really. Like, there's a lot of themes of creative control over someone, and I'm curious if it has something to do with their experience with Rockstar. But the guy downstairs, the video game creator, Emerson, he was complaining entirely about the developers and the producers getting in the way of his work. Barbara Jagger is the old woman that has been standing over his shoulder being his invisible editor. Again, she's editing his work to form what she wants rather than what the creator, Alan, wants to have done. Hartman here, again, is another character. He brings artists here, manipulates them to create what he wants. It's the exact same thing being played over and over and over again throughout the course of this story. Okay, I think we're good now. We can head downstairs. Oh, actually, we do have that one we just picked up, so we're good here.
Hartman followed the fall of Alan Wake with his binoculars. When the rider hit the water, he ordered Jack to take the boat to him. The spot was easy to see in the dark, even with all the extra lights in the boat. The flare floated and kept burning, even in the water. Jack turned the radio louder as the engine sputtered. The music was rough and clanking, something the Anderson brothers would no doubt have enjoyed. But Hartman chose to ignore it. Wake was finally within his reach.
I'm with you. I think it might have something to do with their experience with Rockstar, but it's a personal opinion of, well, not opinion, but it's basically an objective thing, frankly, that you can learn a lot about an author or a creator by observing their work. I mean, look at anyone, anyone who makes a film. You can kind of get an impression of this individual, who they are, what their opinions are, what their beliefs are, their moralities, just by looking at what they write, because at the end of the day, that came out of their mind, that came out of their head. So you kind of get a quick insight into their personality. Okay, that wasn't enough to... Do we have another one? Oh, we got infinite flares. Perfect. Take it easy, John. I have not seen Princess Tutu. I'm not even sure what that is. So I'm curious if a lot of what ended up coming into Alan Wake about the themes that they play in this are entirely about personal experience Sam was having at the time of writing or before the time of writing. And he's kind of like working his way through that.
Hartman knew he was no creator. He had no ambitions on that front.
Right here.
And he certainly didn't want to end up like every artist he had worked with here, damaged in ways that were hard to describe, or worse. It was enough for Hartman to maintain creative control and provide direction. To be a producer, that was what most of these people were in need of anyway. Of course, suitable subjects were few and far in between.
And right here, Hartman essentially admits that he has no problem with destroying the minds and the lives of anybody he brings to his clinic, as long as he can continue to use them to experiment and see what works, what doesn't, and get what he wants to have done. And since we saw that he worked with Thomas Zane back in the day, he's been doing this for 30 years now.
Most of us have felt in shadows, a shiver down your back. You can't find it on purpose, but take a wrong turn.
I can't...
Where you are, and you will find yourself in a small town of Night Springs.
I can't even hear what they're saying on the TV. The Doom Samaritan. This is actually a hidden episode. Hold on. Let me turn down the music real quick and see if we can hear it. Music. This is a Night Springs episode.
Sometimes, even the simplest things prove impossible. Consider, you get in a car and leave a life behind. Easy? Not tonight.
Thanks for the ride, Mark. I'm so glad to be leaving this place. You have no idea.
What, Night Springs? Come on, Linda. Relax. It's not that bad. Hey, what's that up ahead?
Oh, God. There's someone in the road. I think there's been an accident.
It's possible that they used devs for the acting and then just dubbed over. I haven't really looked into it, to be honest.
Oh no, Linda! Oh no! It was me on the road. Wait! Tell him to watch out for the truck! Watch out for the drug!
My God.
This is so corny. Oh, it's so bad.
No, please! God, no! Linda! Linda!
Thanks for the ride, Mark. I'm so glad to be leaving this place.
What, Night Springs? Come on, Linda. Relax. It's not that bad. Hey, what's that up ahead?
Oh, God. There's someone in the road. I think there's been an accident.
Like, weirdly enough, this Night Springs episode evolved from a different story thread. Originally, when Alan and Alice were driving to Cauldron Lake, they were supposed to find someone who was injured on the side of the road, and he was basically having a dream of finding himself.
My God, Mark?
And they ended up scrapping that idea and turned it into a Night Springs episode instead.
A vicious cycle, brutally punctuated by the blast of an air horn and screaming metal. Many roads are dangerous, but none more so than the one that leads away from Night Springs.
Is Night Springs an actual place? How do I answer that? Technically, but we're not going to talk about that. That's spoiler territory. We're not going to go into it, but moving onwards. Hold on, I think I actually... Whoa, okay, did I miss something, or did I already... I think I already picked up that manuscript. We're good. Okay. And here is the fun part. Yeah, we're not going to talk more about Night Springs for now. Technically, American Nightmare, which is a pseudo-sequel to Alan Wake, gets into that topic more. So if you're interested about it, go follow. I already have a stream of that done. It should be on my channel somewhere. Uh-oh, here we go. This is Poltergeist. We have no flashlight, so we can't really destroy it, but we can manipulate it. Perfect, we got around it. Now we gotta kite it over here. Oh god, run. Come back over here. There we go. And we have to use this poltergeist to break the door to get out of here, otherwise we're trapped. And I missed it again. Come on, hit me. I don't care if you hit me, just... There we go. Break the door. Let's get out of here.
Ow! I'm here!
Okay, we're almost dead, but we made it out.
I found the car, but the gate's locked.
Okay.
I have to go through the hedge maze over there.
Barry, I don't have a light.
Take this, Al.
Yeah, there's really nothing you can do in that unless you're perfect at dodging. Which, well, let's be 100% honest, I am not. Oh boy, here we go. Luckily we have this giant statue right here so we can use it to hide behind and... Oh god! I was saying. We are gonna die. Okay, hold on, let's get over here. Okay, at least we got that one out of here. Where did it go? Where did it go? There it is. We're almost out of batteries already. Shit. Sam, give me a second and I'll let you out. Wait, there's one more? I don't have an... Okay, we're just gonna run away from that. Suspended, Lauren Miller, 1989. I do not know who Lauren Miller is, and frankly, I didn't even remember that was there until this morning. Okay, goodbye. We're gonna run. Yep, stay there. Let's get out of here before we die. Wait, is there batteries right there? There's batteries right there. Okay, we're good. Now run. Oh, the shimmer effects? Yep. Could invade Alan's dreams in this town. He brought into the waking world. So Freddy Krueger can invade Alan's dreams in this town. Technically, you can... Freddy can invade anyone's dreams as long as he's, It depends on Nightmare on Elm Street lore, really. If he's already broken out of, crap, what's the name of that town? Because basically he was trapped in the one town. I think that's what Nightmare 6 was all about, is that he couldn't leave. One second, I gotta let the dog out. He's begging me. Well, the thing is, we don't really know specifically what Hartman was after, just that he was looking to more experiment with the power to see what could and could not be done, but they don't explain what he wanted. But I actually do have a video on Hartman already. It's already on the channel if you want to take a look at it later. Okay, Sam, come on. Go on. Sorry, that dog is a moose. Springfield? I don't recall. Springwood, Ohio. There you go. Hey, take it easy, bird. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, if I remember, Freddy kind of was stuck there, and once he ran through all of the Elm Street kids and there's no more children in the town, he couldn't go anywhere, so he literally lulled someone who moved away back in to hitch a ride and break free so he can spread out to the wider world. But anyways, let's move onwards. Okay. So now we're in a hedge maze, which is wonderful. Oh yeah, this episode is probably one of the most information dense. It's a lot of fun. Oh god. Hi there. Get over here. Get over here. The maze has always amazed me. Yes, and this is a true maze, not a labyrinth. Don't trust Emil. Well, thank you. I wouldn't have guessed by now. A hedge maze close to a building that overlooks a lake with mental patients trapped inside. That couldn't end badly in any way. Wake sees the old gods stage. Again, I am so excited that we get to see more of the Andersons, because if you played Control, you know why they're amazing.
I stared at the Viking paraphernalia that littered the area, surrounding an unlikely centerpiece. A full-size stage, complete with an impressive sound system with all the trimmings, including a dragon. It took a special kind of crazy to build something like this in a remote field. When the sky split open with a deafening boom and the music started blasting, it felt strangely appropriate.
Oh, I see what you mean there, Dakoba. Yes, the hedge maze, very much like the Overlook Hotel. This building actually did used to be a hotel at one point, as I mentioned back in episode 1. Or the game mentioned, I should say. Oh, boy. How? How would you possibly be able to see them? You're literally on the same level as me. I know the right path, that there's a manuscript somewhere hidden in here. How did the light lady? We will see. Actually, technically speaking, we could talk about it a little bit. So, the Lady of the Light... Actually, we haven't really identified the Light Lady yet, so I'm not going to say anything yet. Come on, guys. Wow, for some reason the haptics just stopped right there. Because normally there's a little rumble for the light draining, and it just stopped for a moment, so I was confused. Anyways. Can someone just climb the top of the and solve it? Ah, who knows. And there we go, that's what we wanted. Alright, Hartman and the power failure.
Hartman hurried down the corridor. He had disliked leaving Wake when he was surely at his most susceptible to therapy. But this was not an ordinary storm. Wake had been writing, and he had woken something up in the depths of the lake. Now, it was coming for him. Hartman had naturally prepared for a situation like this. The idiot brothers would keep Wake distracted while Hartman double-checked everything, just to be sure. And the question comes right when, as
Thor Anderson starts getting agitated, a storm that is not on the weather report starts coming in. Not even sure if he's the one who might have summoned it in the first place.
We don't want any fighting. It makes people
Alan Wake Lightning is really impressive. Can you imagine how Alan Wake 2 will look with ray tracing? I was hoping that they would have some ray tracing in this one, but I guess they didn't want to go too far and mess with it too much, which is understandable. You'd basically redoing a lot of the game design rather than just updating graphics. But Alan Wake 2 is going to look amazing. Birch. So, not even joking, until maybe a year ago, for some reason, I thought that this right here was Hartman. It took me a long time to realize, no, this is Birch, the orderly. But for years and years, I thought that. Alright, get up here. Oh god, this is an annoying fight right here. Come on, come on. Okay, get away, birds. Trying to deal with birds and this guy at the same time is a pain in the ass. Oh my god, die! This guy has too much health! There we go. Alright. Now we gotta get the birds out of here. This is one of the orderlies. He's the guy that was hiding inside one of the closets after the Andersons clubbed Nurse Sinclair over the head with a hammer. Come on, birds. I just want to get rid of you. Come on. And done. At this point in the game development, having the full upgrade systems wasn't really a really big thing, and it wasn't necessary at the time. Maybe Alan Wake 2 they'll have those kind of upgrades. But technically speaking, there are better flashlights you can get later in the game. But you just find them. It's not like an upgrade situation. You just kind of like locate them in the environment. Can you spot the similarities with the hiss? Hold on. With the hiss, it simplifies the victim. Interesting. Yeah, it's very similar between both of them. Between the hiss and the taken here. 100%. Like, yeah, I think in Quantum Break there wasn't really any specific enemy types. It was more technological. Instead of like an extra-dimensional entity, it's all techno stuff. And Max Payne, it was just regular people. I think the only different enemy type was the junkies that were hopped up on Valkyr.
Mott knew that Wake was smarter than him. Wake had more money, a beautiful wife, everything. And Hartman said Wake was important. That made him better than Mott. But Mott was calling the shots now. He'd expected Wake to whimper and grovel, but instead, he seemed willing to fight. Mott knew he'd gotten under Wake's skin. If only Mott actually had his wife. The thought made him shiver.
Yes, Odin did specify that Baba Yaga or Barbara Jagger or the Dark Presence did steal his ravens. And Katam, in terms of the Andersons and what happened to them after this night, we will find out. As you head through the garden. Okay. We will find out. I will not say anything just yet. Zane and the possibility of a meta story. We're not going to talk about that just yet until we get to the end of episode 5, because that's when that plot line starts to come up. Whoa! Whoa, I see two guys. I did not see them before. Let's get out of the shrubbery. This upcoming section is probably one of the most difficult areas in the game for me personally. And you will find out very shortly why. One, we have very little ammo to start off with. We'll talk about the Andersons in a second. Once you reach the 5 million, so I was really set money aside to buy a place like Hartman here. Oh god. I've actually always said if I ever won the lottery to the point where I can buy any property I wanted, I would not buy anything more than maybe like 2,500 square feet. Because let's be honest, I'd have to clean it. I am never going to buy a house bigger than I can reasonably clean while keeping a regular work schedule. And frankly, I don't want to walk a quarter mile to get to anywhere in the house. It just seems exhausting. Yeah, shifters, but we don't actually fight any shifters in the game. That's why I didn't really mention them for Quantum Break. With that amount of, you can have people do it for you. Hey, no, I just feel awkward doing that. I've always been one to want to do everything myself. Barry attacked by Taken.
For the moment, Barry was just glad he had survived the fall. He had been separated from Al, and there was no easy way to climb back up. He told himself he'd be okay. Okay in the gloomy forest at night. He would just have to wait for a while for Al to find his way down. Barry turned when he heard the heavy footsteps and saw the movement. The man-shaped shadow lunged at him from the bushes, an axe held high. Barry screamed and threw up his hand. The world exploded.
That doesn't sound good. You wanted to create a whole town? Worried about Alan Wake 2 gameplay and how it can surpass it? I am not worried about Alan Wake 2 gameplay. Whatever they do with it, I will accept and love. At the end of the day, it's really the story that I'm most interested in. I've never really been one that gets too up in arms over gameplay, graphics, and stuff of that nature. It'd be hard to surpass it. Yeah, Control was just it was addicting. It was a lot of fun and addicting to play. But at least we got some ammo here. Oh, I hear footsteps. Cut your crap. None of you. None of you. Oh, we got one more. So I went through 3 bolts just to get the supply chest over here. It's going to be a kart racing game. Well, Remedy's already made a car racing game called Death Rally. So that would not surprise me in the slightest. They can split the dev team up with the different games. Are you worried they'll dilute? Whoa. My stream just disconnected. Is it back up, guys? Is everything good? Okay, yeah. Yeah, it just restarted the stream on my end. Okay. I don't know what the hell that was about. My answers for which split. So I never finished this topic or my response. So it doesn't really, like, it would always concern me whenever a gaming company or a company in general starts saying, hey, yeah, we can start producing more frequently. That's what concerns me more. But they're hiring like crazy. The amount of staff that Remedy has on them right now is, I want to say, at least like triple what it used to be when this game came out. Maybe more than that, maybe 5 times greater. So it's not like they have less staff working on each project. They just have more staff working on independent projects. So it's not really too much of a concern. At the end of the day, I'm more concerned about the influence of the co-partners and the developers. So like the 505 and Epic Games and everyone else they're working with. That's what I'd be more concerned about, to be perfectly frank. Alright, Hartman sedates Wake.
Hartman watched as Wake's features slackened. The man was bullheaded, no doubt. Even lying on the bed, he'd almost broken Hartman's nose the second time. But with a little time, he could break Wake down. Give him proper direction. Wake was easily the most promising subject he'd had. Well, since Tom, really. Sleep well, Alan, Hartman whispered with a smile. Let me take care of you. He sniffed hard to clear his throbbing nose, swallowed blood, and barely tasted it.
Again, this is further confirmation that Hartman here worked with Thomas Zane back in the 70s. And it's possible either A, he was doing the same gag then, or this is when he first learned about it and has been developing his craft of manipulation of artists since then, so to speak. Okay, okay, so that's the last in this area. Yeah, it ended like it was like a split second on my end too. I just heard a little ding, looked at Streamlabs, and it kicked it right back up. I don't know much about the developers like 505 or Epic. I know they worked with Epic on a few things already, so.
Let's get out of here. Can you open this gate?
I'm okay.
Maybe.
I'll live.
Barry.
Well, I slammed it shut when the nasty showed up, and the key fits kind of loose in the lock, so...
Barry! Dude. Oh, absolutely. Hartman is definitely channeling Misery vibes.
Don't worry about it.
So is Barbara at the end of the day. Like, there's a lot of Misery themes in this game. So this encounter right here is one of the hardest things. Oh, we got one of the Ravens watching us from above. Okay, this section is a pain in the fucking ass. Okay, get away from me, get away from me. Let's switch over to you. Okay, let's get back over here. Shoot! Okay. Okay. We still have one more flare gun. Okay. I got you ready to go. Normally I don't have the flare gun, so that might make this a little bit easier than normal. But I don't want to go too far in because there's other guys. That's a twig. Reload. Shoot. Okay, sorry. I'm going to be whining and making weird noises for a little bit. Okay, I think we're going to be relatively okay for the time being. Yeah, normally I do not do this with a flare gun.
Here it is! Al, I found the key!
Are you sure you got it, dude? Goodbye! Flipping the middle finger as you walk backwards.
Al, please tell me we're headed for the nearest "You're now leaving Bright Falls. Come back soon" sign.
We're going to the Anderson farm.
I knew you were gonna say something like that. You know what? You owe me big time for this. When this is through, if we make it, I don't care what anybody says, I'm done with darkness. You're gonna buy me a tanning bed as a gift, and I'm gonna live in it.
I don't know who that guy in the back is. It's kind of hard to say. Oh, is anyone familiar with the yellow bat in the community? His username, he changed it briefly to the cutout as an altered item.
Oh, you got that right, Al. You're barking mad.
He's talking about the cardboard cutout of Al in the back.
But maybe that's inevitable when you deal with crazy stuff like this. It helps. This is happening, Barry. Alice, they never had Alice. She's trapped in the darkness at the bottom of the lake, but she's not dead.
Al, how can you know that?
I know, Barry. I can...
Al,
No, listen. I can bring her back. I can find her. There's something special about this place. The lake, it does something to the works of art created here. It makes them come true. But there's a catch. The dark presence, whatever that thing is, twists it to its own ends. That's why all of this is happening. It's using my manuscript to take over everything.
Al, I believe you.
It happened to Thomas Zane before, it happened to the Andersons.
I believe you. Crazy or not, you're not delusional. Weird shit's going down. That's a fact. I'm on board, man. I'm with you.
The Andersons knew about it, but they were too far gone to tell me with all the drugs they were on. But they wrote it down. There's a message somewhere at their farm, Barry. We just need to find it.
Look out!
Luckily, Zatos, I do not. It's actually made specifically for the game, so it's not licensed. And we'll... Yeah, Barry is definitely best boy. Alright, here we are.
I had lost my gun in the crash.
We'll find out soon about the Andersons. Oh boy, we got wrecked. There will be a manuscript page coming up that discusses it.
Jeez, it's good to hear your voice! I was trying to get out of the car, but the ground gave way. Man, what a drop! Don't worry, your cutout is fine.
Forget that.
That's what we're worried about is the cardboard cutout. Uh-huh.
Some bushes didn't get a scratch. There's no way you can climb down, though. It's like a sheer wall. Ah! Al! There's something moving down here!
Barry, it's a taken! Use a flare, Barry!
Oh! Yeah!
Barry, are you alright?
I'm good, Al! I'm great! Guess you never messed with anyone from New York City before, huh?
God damn it, Barry. He's fine. We're good. Everyone can breathe easily. No, Barry's really close with Al. Absolutely, 100%. It's not really spoiler for this
Barry,
game,
just wait for me,
but it's
okay?
mentioned in American Nightmare.
Here. It's suicide. I'm going to the farm. I'm gonna go ahead and secure the area. You can catch up. Don't worry about it. I'm on the case.
Now he's Rambo.
But Alan and Barry have known each other since they were kids. They've been getting into shit even on the schoolyard scrapyards for a while. This is only the latest. Probably here's the cutout with him because he misses Alan otherwise. Well, he took it originally to screw with Rose. That was his express reason why he did it. Okay. Hold on. I think there was something I missed. Okay, never mind. I did not miss anything. Yeah, but it was only really discussed in American Nightmare. And I have nothing to block or to get rid of this. I am dead. I have no flashlight. But we can use this to help ourselves for the time being. No flashlight, hardcore difficulty, run. Run! Exactly. Alright. Walter at the Anderson farm. If we remember correctly, Walter is the individual we met in prison. He was in the drunk tank. And he called into Pat Main's show at one point.
The car at the Anderson farm. Walter felt relieved. Oblivion was close at hand. The brothers wouldn't miss a jar of moonshine or two in the booby hatch. But then he saw the man on the porch, and he knew who it was. Driving for his life and knowing it was useless, he didn't realize he was crying until he couldn't see the road for the tears.
Okay, so Walter ran over to the Anderson farm to steal some of the moonshine, the special moonshine that they claim helps get your head on straight. Goddamn space alien! Yes, Krieger. Which I think is funny that he calls them a space alien because literally there are newspaper articles all around the game that talk about UFO sightings. It's almost like it's not intentional, but it's... Well, it is intentional, but it's... My opinion is that people keep seeing the light that is quote-unquote Zane running around. Okay, we're gonna try to break all these by using this light. Okay. With no flashlight, we're still gonna make do. And they're misinterpreting it for a UFO. That's my personal opinion about the situation. Okay, good enough for the time being. We also got a page, or some coffee over here. Oh, crap. Hit that barrel, not me. Ow, that still hit me. But it fell off the bridge, so we're good. Run! Okay, and now we're gonna run again. Goodbye. We're gonna get hit in the back. Just watch. Oh, crap. Oh, Jesus. We're gonna get... Ow. We're gonna die here. Hold on. Let's use these trees to try to block stuff. This is a very punishing section. Okay, get on the rock. Run, get on the... No! Damn it, Alan! And we're dead. Why did you jump down? Okay, let's just try to run through this again. Official first death in the entire Nightmare mode run. Official first death. Well, UFOs are large pieces of urban legend. Surprise, only mentioned around there twice. Yep. Well, let's just say that some of the deputies have already made comments that they're used to weird things around town. And let's be 100% honest, if this lake does indeed... Okay, hold on. Cause the, pieces of art to become reality, then anybody could accidentally... Like, urban legends especially will be susceptible to being manifest here. Okay, we're out of breath. I need to... Come on, get your air back, dude. I know you have terrible cardio, but I need you to run. Ow. Okay, we got our cardio back. Oh, God, I'm gonna get hit again. Run, run. Okay, let's hide here. Okay, let's... Okay, that one blocked it. Let's run again. Please don't tell me those things are gonna pop up a second time.
Shadows crawled over the gate. I needed a light to
Okay, I think we're faith. Safe. I can't talk. I don't know what's wrong with me. I start babbling like an idiot. Nightingale arrests Wake.
Agent Nightingale stared at the passed-out rider. The man was sleeping off one hell of a night. Nightingale felt a stab of envy at Wake's oblivion, but he had a job to do. He put the gun to Wake's head and almost became a murderer. His hand shook and his throat felt tight and dry. Biting his teeth, he tried again to pull the trigger. He lost the nerve. Wake stirred. Nightingale would have to settle for an arrest.
Okay, so now we have something to look forward to. Nightingale literally almost just murdered us in our sleep. But he didn't, at the very least. He has that going for him. Alright, I'm going to have a quick BRB. I need to run to the restroom real quick. 1 second. Wow, and that BRB sign did not look good. I have no clue what was going on with that. Alright, let's get caught up in chat real quick while we're waiting around. And hold on, let me try a few things. Make sure all the audio is still working well. It is. Toss you on performance mode. Click back. And here we go. Things respond over and over from theory. Yeah, no, Nightingale is not an FBC agent. He is, we discussed this in the last episode, he is former FBI. He was fired for various reasons, but long story short, his partner began having recurring nightmares about Alan and ended up becoming taken like all these other shadow demons we have around here and dying. So from Nightingale's perspective, he saw that Alan was responsible for his partner's death and began drinking heavily to cope with his loss and a severe depression. And basically got fired as a result of it, then came here to track him down. Oh, trust me, I did. I'm quick. I'm quick in the bathroom. Even with the spoilers, you can't understand the story. Don't worry. I've been asked afterwards. Hold on.
Facing the enemy without a weapon was dangerous.
I've been
I had
asked
no
that once we
choice.
finish up, I'll do a what happened in Alan Wake video. Just do a basic, this is the explanation of what's going on. But the story is written in a way that you really need to know how the universe works before you go back and experience it. That way you can really understand what's happening. Trust no one in the dark. Okay, so we finally got a flashlight, so we're good. Yes, a Nightingale's partner got taken all the way in wherever he was. I don't know where he was at, where a Nightingale was stationed at originally, but he did get taken. So we officially have a flashlight, but we still don't have a gun. So let's still keep running. It's really not going to help us. Oh crap, I messed up. I'm going to get hit in the face. Yep. Okay, move, Alan! Why are you literally frozen in place? I guess we're missing those batteries. It's like the game was, even though I was trying to hit the run and dodge button, it was like, oh, there's a thing there. You want to examine that generator, don't you? Run up the stairs, and safe. So there's more lakes in the dark place. Kriegerbot, we're not going to discuss that right now whatsoever. Again, I know we're getting into more of the plot of the game, but we're
general direction as I was.
at the same time we're not going to discuss some of the things.
Consequences of leaping before looking.
Oh yeah. Actually, there's no Energizer batteries in this version of it. They got rid of it entirely. And now here is what we're talking about. There is technically an upgrade for the flashlight. We got a heavy-duty flashlight. Mostly because Energizer kind of got annoyed that how quickly the batteries run out, so they thought it would look like, oh, is Remedy trying to say that Energizer batteries are, like, they don't last a long time? That's bad for our image. So they literally told them they couldn't use them anymore.
The cabin up ahead. It wasn't far.
Weirdly enough.
I would see the damage soon.
Oh, it's a punishment. I see, yeah. And anytime I hear the word punishment, I just hear Monokuma's voice. To be 100% honest. The only evidence we've seen of this, someone being taken outside of Bright Falls is Finn, Nightingale's partner.
Each page to the right time and place. I'm trying to show you how the story goes.
I had seen glimpses of the light before. I had seen it in my dream. It was a strange spaceman or a diver in a bulky suit. He was the one who'd been placing the pages on my path.
The Dark Presence at Large.
The Dark Presence followed the choreography laid out to it in the manuscript, growing stronger and stronger, moving like a storm from one scene of destruction to the next. But it was still bound to follow the story and chained to the dark place it came from. When the story reached the end it longed for, it would finally be free.
This isn't even my flashlight's final form. Haha. It's funny. I got a flashlight. My entire company got it from our boss at last year, or not last year's, but the Christmas party before. And this thing is literally like 12,000 lumens. It is nuts. It will brighten up the fucking night sky. And then they have those ones that are just like ridiculous flashlights. I wish Alan can get one of those. Okay, let's avoid all of these bear traps and not get screwed over in the slightest. Yeah, American Nightmare definitely did a lot of work when it comes to the weaponry within it. And there's very much a lore reason why. But let's go ahead and get our light here first before we do anything.
Someone had left a gun behind. Now I had a fighting chance of reaching the farm.
And we are officially ready to go. Shotgun, let's get going. We can finally defend ourselves again. But first, coffee. Because we can never go pass out. We can never go to sleep, ever. What just happened? Okay, well, I'm not going to argue. You can just go kill yourself down there. Patients escaped the lodge.
The storm raged on as the Anderson brothers walked unsteadily away from the clinic with the other patients in tow, knowing that this time they wouldn't return. The darkness around them seethed with horrors, but Tor and Odin were unafraid. Their eyes glinted with guile. They knew every secret path, and there was blood on their hands. They had fought these shades before.
If there was any cutscene I wanted to see, I would want to see this scene right here. So for the individual who's asking what was going on with the Andersons, they basically helped all of the patients escape, and they left out into the night, even with Taken all around them. They're just like cracking their knuckles, throw on their headphones saying, "We got this shit," and they're ready to go to war. This is not the first time the Andersons have experienced times like this. At all. So they're very experienced. Oh, crap, and I just walked right into that. That was my bad. I can't see where he's at. There he is. But just imagine those two old coots with all the crazies in tow fighting their way through this kind of bullshit in some other part of the town. Yes. Yes. Whoop! Okay, I am stuck. I cannot move. Hello there. Leave me alone, and I want to run to get to a light. There's just too much crap. Where was that? Okay, I need to drop another flare. I'm dead. Get away from me. I am so dead right now. Okay. I need to kill these guys, otherwise they're going to snipe me in the back. Okay. Reload. Reload, and we are good. Perfect. Okay. Now let's freaking get out of here. Oh gosh. Okay, you know what, guys? You just need to, like, chill the hell out. Stop. Just stop. Alright, let's get caught up in chat there for a second. What did you miss, Kayla? Oh boy, what did you miss? There was a lot that was going on. We woke up in the Cauldron Lake Lodge with Dr. Hartman, the guy that Alice brought us here to see in the first place. He informed us that Alice was really dead, that we were suffering from schizophrenia and paranoid delusions. And we wandered around, met the other patients, found out, nope, he was actually just trying to manipulate us the entire time by trying to convince us we were crazy. We met the two old guys from the diner that we met at the beginning of the game. Turns out they're old rock stars. And the lake itself tends to be a medium for artists to affect reality. So any form of art created in the area of the lake ends up recreating reality to match whatever the art is. And as such, the Dr. Hartman, has been bringing artists to the lake basically to manipulate them to create what he wants. And now we're at the two brothers, the Andersons, named Odin and Thor. They had an old band called the Old Gods of Asgard. and they told us to go to their farm because there's a message there about what we need to do, and we can try their moonshine, which will blow up in our consciousness. So that's what you missed, Kayla. You can catch the VOD later. Anyways, let's head on in. So basically the entire narrative drop happened while you were away.
Barry!
No! Danny, you're not! Ah! Please! Ah! What are you? Ah! No! Don't! I'm sorry! Ah! Ah!
What did you do, Danny? I think I just broke Kayla.
I know you. You were in jail the other day.
I went to the farm again for the moonshine, you know? It makes you see. They're not gonna miss it. They're in the loony bin. But my buddy, Danny, I lost him. Something's gone wrong with him. It's not him. Like a real bad follow-up to a real good movie. The best friend's suddenly the bad guy. Who wrote this crap anyway?
Yeah, Alan, who wrote this crap? Someone was asking earlier why, if Alan did indeed write this entire story, why did he kill Rusty? Why did he kill Stucky, Toby the dog, and now Walter here? This individual, he's been a reoccurring character. He was in the drunk tank at the beginning of the game. His buddy Danny attacked him, and he went out on a bender as a result, and it looks like Danny finally finished what he started. So the part definitely brings up the question of morality. If Alan is responsible for everything that's going on, he's causing all these people to die horrible ways.
I've run through every possible course in my head. If I continue like the Dark Presence wants me to, the story I'm writing won't save Alice. It's a horror story, and it's going to kill her, and me, and everybody in this town. No one will survive. Darkness will consume everything. This is what it's wanted all along. It will be free, unstoppable. It used Alice to get to me, dangled her in front of me to keep me going. It was never going to release her. I'm going to change this. I'll escape. I've written myself into the story. I'm now the protagonist. This feels like a terrible risk, but it's the only way to save Alice. I'll be bound by the events of the story just as much as anyone else who's been woven into it. The story must stay true for this to work. There have to be victims along the way, near escapes, cliffhangers. In a horror story, it can't be certain that the hero will succeed or even survive. He almost has to die. I'll write my own escape into the story next. I need help. Zane's going to be the one who will help me. I'll make it happen.
And that addresses that entire concept again right there as well. The Good Place, really good story. I've never heard of it. Let me pull it up. 2016 to 2020 TV series. Yeah, no clue about it. Well, the protagonist always survives. Al and the side characters die. In a horror story, have you been around most horror stories lately? The main character, unless you're the, it's like a slasher flick, main character always dies. Especially in Stephen King. Jack, 1408. Paul Sheldon managed to get out of it alive, but... Before we go downstairs, this brings up another point right here, is the Barbara Jagger Baba Yaga. The Dark Presence is an entity from... it's a dark entity that's essentially needing to free itself, and that's what we learned from that TV set right there. And like I mentioned earlier, as the old saying goes, evil cannot create, it can only corrupt and destroy. The Dark Presence cannot imagine itself free. It must have an artist. It must have someone outside of itself to write it free, to envision it free. And that's where we come in. And the Andersons mentioned earlier on when we met with them the first time that they woke it up, but they opened the door a crack, but Alan opened it full tilt. Oh! This is gonna be fun, because we have, like, no room. Hi, upstairs, buddy. Nope. Hey, you. I'm sorry, Danny.
Let me guess. Danny, huh?
Evil is chaos in Alan's world, in a certain aspect. Like, I refer... Chaos, what definition are we using in terms of chaotic nature, or chaos is in primordial nature, like or like a KO in the Ovid's Metamorphoses version of it, because Ovid has a different definition for chaos, and I abide by that more than anything. And that definition, I believe, plays more role in this game than the other definition of chaos. But either way, let's look at this next one. Hartman considers Mott and Wake.
For a moment, Hartman considered strangling the idiot. Mott was mean-spirited, but easily manipulated. An emotional infant who lived for his approval. Wake, by contrast, was a far more difficult subject. Mott had given him too much leash. In 2 days, who knew what could happen? Hartman would have to find a way to rein him in, and quickly.
Acid Ball Gamer, I have not played any of the WarioWare games, so I can't really comment on it, to be perfectly honest. Yes, but it can create to destroy, like the corruption. Corruption, technically, it's taking something that was pre-existing that someone else created and twisting it to its own ends. Like, a lot of, one great example of what the Dark Presence is essentially doing is it's like an old-fashioned genie. And I'm not talking about the nice genie from Aladdin. I'm talking about a genie, you make a wish, and it says, okay, I'll make that come true. And then they screw with it. They twist it. They make it so that it's not the wish that you wanted at the end of the day. One example, my favorite example of this is an episode of X-Files. For example, they find a genie rolled up in a old rug. And this guy in the wheelchair, his wish is that he can walk again. So he is able to walk again. He walks out and gets hit by a truck.
Wasn't up here. He was probably in trouble down at the farm. For a moment, I felt bad for doubting it.
Or Mulder
I made it this far myself.
wishes for world peace, and every living human on Earth is removed from reality, because that's the only way to have world peace. Stuff like that. That's essentially what the Dark Presence does. Constantly messing with the NPCs. Yep. Alright, so we got you. Okay. And now we have the infamous Alan Wake driving mechanics. Oh, gosh. To me, the darkness is either a remnant of Lucifer's soul or God's wrath on Earth, or maybe it can be a space buried deep within the ground, woken by a volcanic movement. That's one hypothesis. We'll get some more information as we go. Ah, crap. Okay, the question is some coffee worth all the ammo we're gonna lose here? I think it's worth it. Because coffee is amazing and collectibles are a must-have. Okay, let's go back and get our coffee. You know, I probably could have just avoided them, grabbed this, and jumped in the truck, but whatever. Yeah, it's like a gin. More specifically, a gin. Oh my god, they respawned? Okay, you know what? Screw you guys. I am going home. Bye-bye. I will kill you, though, because you looked at me funny. The rest of you can live. Do the Night Springs episode have any ties to the plot of the game? Some of them do. Some of them have ties to other games in the series. Some of them have ties to things that happen later. Great. Okay, well, we gotta stop here because we got some supply crates. You know what, let's just go in and see what happens. Oh, wait. Here we are. You're gonna come in here? Hi there. I did not want to use a flare gun on him, but let's just call it overkill and move on with life. I was honestly just gonna shoot him, but whatever. You want to go to bed in an hour, but you want some coffee at the same time. I hear you there. Personally, I can't tolerate caffeine. I am so detoxed from it that if I have it even small amounts, I'll freak out. I'll literally start twitching like a drug addict. Like I'm going crazy on it. Different truck. Need some tea, actually. Yeah, I'm more of a tea drinker here, too. Did I break the truck already? What are you? Maybe I should take the car. You know what? Let's take the car. Just to be fancy. British? No. Not British at all. I'm a California kid. Heritage originally from Ireland. Hold on. I know there is something we're looking for. I think there's a radio tower we need to try to find. No Mountain Dew. Yeah, that'll keep you awake for sure. Oh my god, I cannot drive to save my life. Wait, did I already... I think I went past the radio tower. Hold on, let's head back up real quick. So you drink coffee to become a tweak from South Park. It's essentially what it is. It's actually a joke at my office that I can't have anything, otherwise I'll literally... Yeah. There it is, there's the radio tower. I completely missed it. I literally stopped the car right at the base of it. Do you invert y-axis? I don't know. I honestly don't even... where's the controls? Key bindings, vertical. So it's whatever the normal stuff is. Frankly, I just kind of adapt to whatever the game's defaults are. Those kind of controls never really bother me. And this is why they should never have given me a license.
Well, as I'm sure everyone's noticed, that storm we all felt coming is finally here. The boys at the Weather Service reckon it'll last until morning, at the very least. Pertaining to that, let me read that missing persons alert again. The Sheriff's Department's still looking for a Caucasian woman, 30 years old, slim and blonde with blue eyes. She may be lost in the woods, and it's possible she's been injured in a car accident. If you see her, please make sure you get her indoors and call the sheriff. It's bad weather to be caught out in, so if you see someone in the area who maybe looks a little confused, give him a hand, all right? This is Pat Maine on KBF FM, hoping you're all safe and warm tonight.
And that right there is actually a direct reference. Oh, before that, we gotta run away before we get DMC. Oh, hello there. That actually is direct reference to the prequel television series called Bright Falls. In a fish. Okay, run before the song starts hitting us. So this missing woman, at the very end, last episode of that show, there is a woman that goes missing and they find a vacant car. Hello. Goodbye. We're just gonna jump in the car and run. Cut your crap. Goodbye. Oh my god. Okay, let's pay attention to the road while we run over it. What is happening? That taken cannot be that freaking thick over here. I'm not even gonna try to talk until we get to a safe place because obviously I should never be trusted to drive. Might have been a car accident. It could be possible that that's also about Alice. I always looked at it because technically there was another woman that went missing right as the Alice and Alan were walking into town, or driving into town, I should say. Maybe I just want to have a direct connection to Bright Falls. Who knows? Who fucking knows? Are you gonna come, or are you just gonna like hang out there, buddy? Hi. You're finally coming. Okay, cool. Sorry, I was gonna let you live if you just hung out there for a few more seconds, but whatever. That's fair enough. I kind of really always hoped that it was about Elena. Or Ellen, I should say. Not Elena. Her name is Ellen. But whatever. It doesn't really matter. Alright, so there's a cool little thing over here that I actually didn't even know about until maybe a year and a half ago. And we'll go check it out real quick. No specifications, just curious. I wouldn't really say plot holes. Are there unanswered questions? Absolutely. I haven't really thought about plot holes. It's really just how deep you want to think about it. How far down the rabbit hole you want to go, so to speak.
Stay away from my daughter.
I didn't do anything to your daughter. What the crap? Oh, I thought I'd try to dodge that one. Come on. Come on. Done. This radio show was just created to help the episode. No, so the radio show you're thinking about is called America Overnight, and it's a completely different radio broadcast. This is Pat Maine is literally just a local town, but he does know more than he's letting on. During an interview between him and Agent Nightingale, he specifically tells him, like, yeah, I'm not telling you shit. Exposed.
As during the week after Maud had managed to lose the Wakes, their car stood by the path that had once led to Diver's Isle. Hartman thought about Thomas Aine's cabin in the depths. It was only a matter of time before Wake started writing. They had to be found, and fast. The moment he heard on the police radio that Sheriff Breaker had picked up Wake, he was already in his car driving toward town.
Mm-hmm. So honestly, with this storm going on right here, I doubt they can get radio broadcasts out of this place. Especially with these secluded communities, you have the one radio tower, or just a few, and you really can't broadcast past it during a heavy storm. Who knows? But okay, let's go check out this cool little Easter egg that I never even knew was here. So way back behind this is a graveyard. Skeletons! Literally possessed skeletons are throwing themselves at us. I didn't know this was a thing until very, very recently. Because honestly, I've never gone this far back. High amounts of caffeine, true, exactly. Maine seems mysterious. I was seeing a new poster released by Remedy. It looks like innocent characters on the right and tainted on the left. Maine was on the left. He does know more than he's letting on. Not nefarious. As far as I've seen, there's nothing to suggest that he's a bad guy or anything, but whatever. Alright, guys. Everybody, buckle on up. if you're a fan of, I'm not going to explain what happens in it, but if you are a fan of the Ashtray Maze, buckle on up.
I'd known the brothers used to be some kind of rock stars, but it hadn't really sunk in until I saw the stage.
The old gods of Asgard, aka the Anderson brothers.
Run! Incoming! There's too many of them!
Lightning strike.
God damn.
I'm not talking here.
I'm so glad you decided to go it alone, Mr. Johnson.
Shut up and shoot! Al! We have to fight them off! I can set off more of the fireworks from here and help you out! Hey, Al! Did you notice there's a lot of ammo and stuff around? This place is stocked! Al, hold on! I'm trying to get the stage lights on! Century wiring! Hang on! I'll get them working again, I promise!
No, this will not cause a DMCA. This song was made for the game. And frankly, I don't care if it DMCAs me. It is worth it.
Why do you keep doing this to me? Do it for Barry, please, please, please!
Agreed, Barry.
They are trying to kill us. That's the high point of my life? Really?
Children of the Elder God! Enjoy it! God damn it!
I'm enjoying it, Barry. You're good.
Back in the game! Yes! Oh! Did I do this? That was awesome!
Bright Falls, rock and roll capital of America.
Hail to the yes.
Way to the farm!
Ah, I love this part. All right, let's grab this, and we are going to take a quick read break, weirdly enough.
Deputy Mulligan tuned Thornton's chatter out. He didn't think riders were particularly useful people, and a huge manhunt for one stuck him as idiotic. Certainly not worth the missed opportunity for coffee and pie. It wasn't even clear what the man had done, except run from them at the trailer park. Mulligan knew he wasn't alone. The sheriff's patience with the Fed was running out.
So again, that was one of the Anderson brothers' tunes under their stage name, The Old Gods of Asgard. And it just so happened that the second we arrived in our moment of need, right before Barry was killed right here, a lightning bolt came out of the sky and ignited the entire stage and lit it up. It's almost like Thor himself decided to reach down and give us some electricity. Oh my gosh. So anyways, before we proceed onwards, we are going to take a quick pause right here and bring up lyrics for that song, because yes, the lyrics are extremely relevant. Oh yeah, absolutely, having all those pyrotechnics ready to go. Alright guys, we're going to look at the lyrics of this song because it gives you a lot about the Old Gods mindset. Remember, they wrote this a long time ago, but it just so happens that right now is when it's relevant. Okay, so the first verse... No, the Old Gods refers to the old gods of the Norse mythology. But first verse here: warriors, torchbearers, come redeem our dreams. Shine a light upon this night of otherworldly fiends. So right here, when it's them addressing a group in this song. The song is called Children of the Elder God. It's them addressing a group to warriors and torchbearers, come to redeem our dreams. They're basically saying, hey, we screwed up at one point. We need a new generation to come and redeem us. And he's calling out to any warriors and torchbearers that will take the light that they started and move forward into time. The second section is Odin's might be your guide, divorce you from the sane. Hammer's way will have it say, rise up in their name. Again, they're desperately asking for new warriors to show up and carry on the fight that they started back in the 70s. And again, the chorus here just refers to memory and thoughts of Odin's ravens, Children of the Elder God, the title of it. And the second verse, scratching hag, you can rake your claws and gnash your crooked teeth. You've taken slaves like ocean waves, now feel the ocean seethe. Again, they specify taken here. You've taken slaves. And the scratching hag is Barbara Jagger. That's Baba Yaga. That's the Dark Presence. Father Thor, bless this war between the dark and light. In their songs, let their wrongs bring dissolution's might. Or dissolution's night. Basically, with Odin's and Thor's blessing, the new warriors, the new torchbearers, will be able to bring an end to this eternal night. Lightsaber would be a perfect weapon for Alan. Dude, lightsaber would be amazing. So yeah, so the Old Gods, or the Andersons, wrote this a long time ago, specifically calling out for someone to come and put away the what they awoke in the lake back in the late 70s. And Alan just happens to be the one to fill those shoes, and that song just happens to play, speaking to him directly in a certain sense.
No reason to worry. Your cutout's good as new, right where I left it. I'll come back for it once we have the place secured.
Yeah, that's been my biggest worry all this time.
You've had time to get your cardboard cutout all the way up here while fighting shadow demons? God damn it, Barry. I love you, but god damn it, Barry. And don't worry, there is much more Old Gods. We have a few more Old God songs in this game as well.
As the deputies hauled Wake and Wheeler away, Agent Nightingale eagerly examined the stack of papers Wake had been carrying. It was incomplete, a collection of random pages, but there was enough. He saw his own name in there, among others. His hands shook with emotion. Finally, it was proof. He had been right all along.
I'll address that, your comment there about Thomas Zane later. Because as of right now, the story hasn't fully explained what happened at that point in time. And referring to it as ocean waves, if you played the end of the game, you know what that means. Okay, let's head on up.
Hey, I think Alan Wake here has something to say. What's that, Al?
Ooh, I'm Alan Wake. I'm always right about everything. And if I don't get my way, I'll sulk all day long. I'm always intense and moody. It makes me very attractive and mysterious. Right now, I'm just standing here because I need my best friend Barry to carry me. But that's okay. I can just take him for granted.
I think I see what you did there.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
You want me to do my imitation of Barry Wheeler? No? Thought so.
God damn it, Barry. Come on, dude. And seriously, that cardboard cutout has been through so much shit. If that thing could talk, it'd be like, you have no freaking clue, guys. Oh yeah, Barry is definitely, we need the extra comedy laying around. But he's willing to hike up his boots and get shit done at the same time, when necessary.
Wow! You look at that thing, Al! They really went all out with this Viking crap, didn't they? Look at all this stuff. They must have done okay for themselves, so how come I never heard of these guys before?
And this from the guy who learned about Ozzy Osbourne through reality TV?
Barry, come on. It took the Osbournes to teach you who Ozzy was? What the hell, bro? My name is Alan Wake. My hobbies include wearing 3 coats and missing my wife. There's anything darkness in there. Oh, god damn it, Barry. Okay. You guys ready for some more Night Springs?
Sleep. We all spend a third of our dreams in its soft embrace, somewhere between fantasy and
Hey,
oblivion.
remember when I got you that gig? Your
Dreams
first
are a way
real
of
writing
forcing
job. What got
themselves
you
into
started?
waking life,
Was this one of your
or vice
episodes?
versa. In Night Springs. Tonight's episode, The Dream of Dreams.
Seriously, I can write character analysis on every character in this game. They're all incredibly deep. There's a lot of depth.
Only to be brought to a sudden stop by a decidedly mundane situation. A long line of people.
Hey, Jones, right? Listen, we're gonna have to wait until His Highness over there is good and ready. Oh, wow. Who's that? You don't know him? What are you, new? He's the guy dreaming us. Well, not just us. He dreams everything. All of this.
But wait, no. I'm the one who's dreaming. I'm asleep. Isn't this my dream?
Oh, yeah. Sure. Get real, pal. You're just another dream. I'm a dream. You're a dream. The weirdo in the diving suit is a dream. And the girl made of smiles and sunshine is definitely a dream.
But I'm pretty sure I'm dreaming this.
Well, maybe you're a really confused dream. What am I, a shrink? All I know is I'm going with the smart guys. And they say that's the guy doing the dreaming. Right there.
I don't know what that means.
It means we keep him happy. No sudden falls. We make sure he has his clothes on when he goes out in public. No chases where the monster is nipping at his heels and he runs like crazy, but his legs don't seem to get him anywhere. None of that. Because if he wakes up in a cold sweat... Yeah, precisely. So we wait till he wants to move on. Keep things nice and calm.
Ruh-roh.
Something's happening here.
Yeah? What's that?
What? Can't you hear that?
Oh, God help us. It's an alarm clock. Oh, it's you. Please, man. I got a wife and kids. Please don't wake.
And they all wake up. And they all vanish because their reality has been completely destroyed. Yeah, from what I've seen too, is a lot of people I've seen play this aren't really a fan of Alan's personality whatsoever. And it amuses me because I think it's basically entirely that he's kind of standoffish. He's kind of a dick for a good portion of it. And then that fight with Alice at the start, which most people blame him for her getting falling into the lake to begin with, which is partially accurate. Partially because there's literally a chthonic entity that set the whole thing up, but they don't look at that. But I think it's mostly because no one really wants to look at anything from his perspective on what he's personally going through and his issues. I don't get it. Well, because he's suffering from writer's block. He's having a sleep problems, and again, that's going to affect your mood seriously. He's also having extreme pressure from everyone around him. He's also dealing with fight or flight issues, with psychological traumas, and all sorts of other things. So he's dealing with a lot. But anyways, he's very well written. You may not like him personally, but in terms of how he's written, there's a huge amount of depth about him.
It's 1976. Madness reigns at the Anderson farm. Contrary to all logic, the headiest ingredient of their moonshine is unfiltered water from Cauldron Lake. The Andersons feel like gods. Odin can't stop laughing. He contemplates cutting his eye out. Tor runs across the field, naked, shrieking, hammer in his hand, trying to catch lightning. Their songs have power. Something ancient is stirring in the depths, coming back.
Oh, that Night Springs, yeah, that can be a odd concept. Because I know there's some philosophers who've even posed that exact question about the nature of reality.
Almost like a battering ram.
But when you get super existential in those terms, you drive yourself nuts. Alan Wake is human, okay? He is not your perfect protagonist. And I think that right there is the point. He's not intended to be a perfect human being. Honestly, for the most part, perfect human beings are boring when it comes to literature or trying to tell a story. It's the reason why, in my opinion, Jack Joyce is the weakest protagonist in all of Remedy and Quantum Break, because he literally has no character. He's kind of just there, and every character around him is far more interesting. Beth Wilder and Paul Serene, William Joyce, they're all far more interesting. He's kind of just like a blank slate cardboard cutout. You need to have some kind of flaws in a character to make them interesting. You need to give them a character arc to go through. Yes, Alan is an asshole at the start of the game, but over the course of it, we see what's going on with him, and he's going to be a better man by the end of it. Jesse has far more depth than Jack. Far more. Like, Jesse is a very, 3-4 note character. Jack has no notes to him. And I think Alan Wake and Max Payne are the two most complex out of the Remedy characters, but Jack is just... ugh. I hate to say it, but he is not a fun character to play as. Anyways, the Old Gods of Asgard, 1975 Ragnarok Tour. Be awed by... See that right there? Awed, A-W-E, wink wink, by Celestial Wrath and Fury. Seattle, Bakersfield, Long Beach, New York, Newark, Detroit, Jacksonville, Tampa, Baton Rouge. I actually have this t-shirt. I have a t-shirt with this entire thing on the back of it. Nobody likes a Mary Sue, exactly. Or a Gary Sue. I don't know what the male version of it is. It's just not fun. And it's an interesting way to make your character is he's not necessarily likable at the start. This is a very psychological game. The point is getting to know why he's that way. And it's not just us getting to know why he's that way, it's him getting to know why he's that way. There's a lot of shadow work and Jungian unconscious individuation of the shadow stuff going on throughout this entire story. It's very intentional. So as we learn more and more about him, he does as well. And part of figuring yourself out and becoming a better person is figuring out what your flaws are. Back in the, at the beginning of this chapter, when Alan's listening to the recording of his wife talking to Hartman, he probably never knew Alice ever had those thoughts about him in the first place. She never was able to have that entire conversation, so he had no clue what he was putting her through. He was entirely too focused on himself, which is, again, most people are egocentric. They're going to focus on their own thoughts first. But the second he realized that she was being put through hell because of him, that's going to affect him. He's going to pause and go, shit, what could I do? He was starting to come face to face with his own negative traits. That's what confronting the shadow means. That's being trapped in your own dragon's cave. And fighting the black dragon. Sorry, I'm ranting a little bit right here, but it's a topic I'm passionate about. Jesse's best friend was an alien, so it's kind of unfair. The Alan personality makes everyone expect him to write, and he can't. It's too terrifying. And the thing is, he doesn't want to confront the fact that he can't write. So anytime someone brings it up to him, he's going to push away, and sometimes violently, because they're trying to force him into a psychological corner that he does not want to confront. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to experience that. Anyways, let's move onwards. Yeah, Alan in American Nightmare is more of the hero. He's a much better man by the time we get to American Nightmare. And he acknowledges it in some of his writing. Some of the manuscript pages there, he's flat out acknowledging it. Come on, guys. Let's go. Good enough. Let's save the last flare gun for a little bit later. Hit the tires. There you go. Oh, and the little electricals smacked me in the face. You know what? Stay back, guys. I got a lot of ammo to pump through you. Thank you, Kayla. Yeah, this Alan Wake, definitely, I'm very passionate about this story. This entire channel was started because of this game. And it has affected how I look at not just literature, but a lot of things radically. Philosophically speaking, as well as other things. Is Remedy bringing American Nightmare to this later? Isn't it good? I don't know if they're gonna remaster it like they did this, personally, but if you want to check it out, I already have a stream uploaded, Gargoyle Guy, for American Nightmare. Okay, so we got... Okay. So you can definitely check it out there. Hey, Barry, you ready? Yeah, I don't think they will. I don't think it's really necessary, frankly. It aged pretty well on its own.
Wow.
Ooh.
Those geezers had quite a production going on. Ooh, you know what, Al? If we make it through this alive, I'm gonna start representing them. Yep, sell this stuff online, maybe get a reality show going, release a new single.
Good luck with that, pal.
Yeah, he's already looking at that.
You find us a way out here, okay? I'm gonna take a closer look at this stuff.
Of course, you're gonna look at all the moonshine here. This is freaking bathtub moonshine, dude. It's bad. It's probably gonna screw with you or make you go blind, right? Yeah, Gargoyle Guy. You can check my previous streams. You can look at it as soon as we're done with the main game. I'd recommend waiting until all the DLCs for this one are finished before you look at it, though.
Be careful, Al!
Oh, you got it, Rodin. Absolutely. Remedy's next project, I believe, with Epic Games, yes, is Alan Wake 2. Their next project, I'm not sure if we're going to get that first or if Project Condor is going to be released first. And that's going to be, from everything I've seen, a pseudo prequel to Control. Either way, they're both being worked on at the same time. By different teams. Come on. No, you're good. Langston's a great character.
Good. Keep your eyes open, okay?
I actually have a video that's going to feature him quite heavily. That's already on my to-do list. Well, Control and Project Condor are being worked in collaboration with 505 Games. So I'm assuming anything Control related is 505, and anything Alan Wake related is going to be with Epic Games. Yeah, I haven't seen an official announcement for Control 2, but there is stuff in the game files of... Did I drop a... I don't know why. Did I drop a flashlight or something? But there is stuff in the game files that would directly refer to Alan or Control 2, so we're good there.
I tend to work through the night, but I'm not the only one. Deputies Mulligan and Thornton are taking a couple of moments off their busy schedule to join me here in the studio. Boys, how busy are you now? Deerfest is almost here, isn't it? I bet that keeps you in business.
Pretty busy, yeah.
Actually, Pat, we've been real busy with other stuff.
Which concerns an ongoing investigation. We can't talk about that, Thornton.
I wasn't gonna say anything. I was just saying we got, other irons to fry.
And how would you compare your workload to last year's? Things have seemed relatively peaceful to me, but people do tend to get a little wild this time of year.
Oh, it's wild, Pat. It's pretty wild. There's been all sorts of trouble this year. Vandalism, fighting, public disturbances. A lot of people gone missing, too.
Yeah, it's pretty much the usual stuff, Pat. Just, a lot more of it.
Now, is it just me, or does Deerfest get wilder every year? People seem to be more drunk, at least, or they start earlier and younger.
Oh, it's definitely not just you, Pat, but...
Definitely, Pat.
Hey, I'm talking here, Thornton. Oh, shoot, I lost my train of thought.
Not just me.
Oh, yeah, it's wilder, Pat, but actually most of the trouble seems to be coming from grown men. People who ought to know better, Kids are doing fine this year.
Well, that's nice to hear at least. Boys, I want to thank you for stopping by. I'll let you get back to your patrol.
Sure thing, Pat.
Yeah, sure thing, Pat.
And again, we get more information that Thornton and Mulligan know a lot more about what's going on than they're letting on here. One of them doesn't seem to be able to keep his mouth shut very well, for one. But yes, BJ Seaward, I have played Control, and I fully intend to doing a stream of it at some point. There's some other things. I want to do some more blind stuff, which are community requests first. But I have a lot planned for Control. It's basically the staple of the channel. Is centered around that game.
Two burned-out geriatric wrecks. They had the goods.
The darkness created as a result of the collective conscience of the inner shadow. I'm not going to say anything right now, but let's just say that I have a video called The Confrontation of the Shadow, which will go over that in detail. Because there are still a couple more points in the game I want to get to before we go in a full deep dive of what it is. Oh yeah, Kayla really wants me to play, what was it called? Anatomy of, what's the title again, Kayla? Oh, Horizon Zero Dawn is incredible. 100%. I love that game. I cannot wait for Forbidden West. Okay, we gotta run. I am going to die. Go on, throw it. Flashbang. Okay, I'm just blowing all of my shit right there. Kitty Horror Show's Anatomy. Yeah, there you go. Okay, here we go. Hello there. I just went and blew all of my freaking items on that, but I do not want to deal with a giant-ass lawn equipment. Or farm equipment, I should say, more accurately. Any more? Get on out here. Get on out. Paul's company versus Jesse's organization. Who wins? Hard to say. Like, there's always been that question, who would win in a fight, Jack Joyce or Jesse Faden? They're so radically different, it's hard. It's more of like a death battle type of situation there. It's like a situational kind of thing. Like with Jack, he has time control type of things. He can also foresee the future and envision multiple parallel realities simultaneously and figure out which one works best for him. So that's what he has going for him. Plus stopping time and slowing down time for everybody else. So it's kind of like, who freaking knows? But Jesse is super powered to the max. Oh, Trey, they have wrenches because they're helping moderate. They're moderators for the stream. That's why they have the wrenches right there.
Is that you out there, buddy?
Yeah, hey there, dude.
Hey, let's go, man.
Technically, they're not mods or mechanics. They're my sensors. They're my sensors, and they do a great job.
I think we're gonna have to work together to open this gate, Al. Looks pretty heavy. Hey,
Sure,
I think that's the farm on the other side of the field.
we're actually almost to the end. We literally got like 5 minutes, and we're at the end of the chapter.
We should feel right at home then.
Metroid Dread, I'm fully intending to play it. I'm probably not going to do it on stream, but I'll definitely be playing it for the fun of it. I try to focus on story-driven games, like lore-heavy, thematic games like this, more than just having some fun with it. The old gods know the truth. Here we are. We're at the Andersons' farm.
The lights are out. I guess we better check the fuse box.
Yeah, if I have anything in my mind that shouldn't be there, like manias, hallucinations, they help me get rid of it. That's what the sensors do. Okay, where's the kitchen? I need to go to the kitchen. This is a little... okay. God, what is going on with that range? That is disgusting and rusted over. I would not cook in this place. I would not pass the health code inspection. Have you ever seen Replaced? No, I haven't seen anything on that one. Your favorite song is Almost Here, absolutely. So while we're here, let's poke around a little bit. Old Gods of Asgard, In the Valley of My Shadow. One of their albums. Old Gods of Asgard. Oh, that's also the same album, but it's got the wolves. And remember, this wolf painting showed up in the lodge painted by Rudolph Lane for some reason. They got a gold record. Very nice. I don't know what Golden Light is. Yeah, I heard Returnal was written by an old Remedy writer, so that one definitely will be in up for vote. For sure. I know, like, The Evil Within, for example, is going to be in the vote as well, along with Returnal and a few other games.
Again, Alice's screams rang in the stillness of the night. I saw myself run toward the cabin, flashlight in my hand. I followed my past self. I was an out-of-body observer, a time traveler in a crazy drunken dream. This was the beginning. The night Alice had disappeared. The mystery of what had happened during the missing week was about to reveal itself.
Celeste, they do mention what was going on with the FBC during this story, but again, we're not going to talk about any Control spoilers right now. We're trying to keep the chat basically spoiler-free 100% right now. Making them taken like demonic possession. I wouldn't really say 100% it's demonic possession. Let's say, for example, Rose. She wasn't fully taken, so to speak, but she was touched by the dark presence. And what she did was end up drugging Alan Barry and wanting to become his muse. Now, if we know her inspiration from Stephen King is Annie Wilkes from Misery. And what she did was the exact same thing. She drugged Paul Sheldon, got him addicted to Novril or a painkiller, and then played the role of muse while she forced him, literally, in some cases, at gunpoint to continue writing. So her dark side would be basically Annie Wilkes to be the shadow reflection of Rose Marigold from this game. If she went off the deep end and went pure frickin' dark side, how she would have become. At least that's my interpretation of it. Yep, the Andersons built all this stuff themselves. Ready for some more Old Gods music? Let's do this.
Did you hear that, Al? Music? Of course. We need to find where it's coming from. That's the message the Andersons talked about. That's the whole reason we're here.
Lady of the Light? Oh, that's gotta be what's-her-face, the crazy lamp lady from the town.
Cynthia Weaver.
Cynthia Weaver.
Right. Must be.
Someone asked earlier why Cynthia was aware someone was aware of Mott. Is because Cynthia was obsessed with Thomas Zane and Emil was Zane's writing assistant. And I agree, Rose is far more attractive than Annie.
Okay.
We need to find Cynthia Weaver. We'll stay here for the night and head back to town as soon as it gets light.
Hey, Al. Lots of hours before dawn. Might as well get some rest. And by rest, I mean drunk.
Come on, Barry. This is... Yeah.
What the hell? Get some moonshine, brothers. Yes, Sheriff Breaker is definitely, she's my girl in this game, 100%.
Oh, we don't get along, but we're gonna find her, right? Even though you're a crazy bastard, I'm gonna stick by you, no matter what, ever, Al. Sure, like a brother.
I'm a writer, goddammit.
Correct.
If I just wanted to, I could write 10 books a year. and they'd be the best books that year.
No, you couldn't.
That's right, I couldn't. But I could, because I'm a
Because I'm a writer.
What do they put in this stuff? I feel like my brain is coming out of my nose. I'm gonna get the recipe off those coots and be a booze millionaire.
I just miss her, Barry. I just want her here with me.
I know. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna make it okay.
No, BJ Seaward, that's the old gods of Asgard singing. Wink, wink. Jokes aside, yes, that is the Poets of the Fall. Poets of the Fall is the real band that does all the work for old gods of Asgard. Alice's queen. We just don't get much time with her in this game, in my opinion. And remember, that's Dr. Darling talking drunk right there. Wink, wink. And here we go. Barry isn't cuddled up with the cutout? Yes. He probably did as soon as we passed out fully.
It's all right. I'm coming.
It was a crazy drunken dream, and yet it was more than that. It was the truth, a suppressed memory unearthed by the Andersons' moonshine. I was there, an out-of-body observer. This was the night Alice and I had arrived at Bright Falls, the night Alice had disappeared. I had a chance to find out what had happened. I remembered being surprised to see the cabin dark. Alice would have never turned the lights off.
Alice? Alice!
I remembered thinking, I caught a glimpse of her form underwater, sinking into the darkness. Diving after her was the last vague memory I had of that night. After that, the next thing I could remember was waking up behind the wheel of the crash car and finding the first pages of the manuscript.
I believe the original inspiration for Cauldron Lake in this area is actually a place called Wizard Lake. You can look it up.
I couldn't find her in all that blackness. I must have thought she drowned.
Basically, he met under the influence of Anderson's moonshine. They made the moonshine by hand, and it's causing this vision to happen.
I'd been easy prey.
Look at the cabin. Is there someone in the window?
They made the moonshine specifically to allow whoever drank it to go on a vision quest.
Maybe she didn't drown after all. Maybe she's inside.
Alice!
Yes.
This is a true recollection of what happened that night. Alan dove into the water, ran out of breath, couldn't find Alice, came up, and Baba Yaga here, Barbara Jagger.
The presence had touched me. She had dug her nails into my brain and used me, made me her puppet.
She must be here somewhere. Maybe upstairs in the study.
Alice!
Yes, that's where she is. You can apologize.
Alice!
You'll laugh at the whole thing together and put it behind you.
Alice?
She's not here. You were foolish to think so. No, she's dead. She drowned.
No, no, no!
It's your fault your wife is dead. You are guilty. All she wanted was to help you right. You killed her. Oh, hush. There's still hope. Cauldron Lake is a special place. Here, you have the power to change things. She wanted you to write. I will tell you what to do. You can write her back. The story will come true, and all will be well again.
She had Alice, and the manuscript was the ransom for her. Yes.
Did it better than Vader.
All right. I'll fix it. I'll bring her back.
I guess she knows we're watching her.
No. I wrote it. I remembered it all now. In the dark, I'd written for days, a week, almost a complete manuscript of a novel entitled Departure. Jagger had been my editor, whispering in my ear, making sure that the unfolding story would make her more and more powerful. I thought I was saving Alice. Even with the cobweb she put in my head, some part of me had been aware enough to write my escape into the story, to bring a light into the cabin to release me before I could finish, to interrupt the horror story before the ending, where darkness consumed everything and everyone. Zane was weak and far away, but I had written him into the story, and his light had been enough to set me free.
It isn't here now. I'm here because it was written. I brought the light to set you free. You must hurry. It will know I'm here. It will be back soon. It stole the skin of my Barbara a long time ago. She looks so old.
I'd woken up, confused and groggy, my mind consumed by darkness and fear. All I could do was to escape.
All of this occurred within the missing week from the start of the game to when he woke up in the car crash. I am here because it was written exactly, Zatus.
I was barely conscious and fading fast. It had to have cost Zane terribly, thrown him even deeper into whatever dark place he now haunted.
And there goes the cabin.
But he had managed to weaken the dark presence, kept me safe that night. I wrote it. It's my fault.
That's right, James Joyce. It's your fault, and you're gonna pay for it.
And we're going to have to skip that as well, because I think that one does copyright, unfortunately. So there we go. Okay, so to basically clear, hopefully I can clear everybody's questions up real quick. But before I do that, if you want to listen to the whole song, you can find it on YouTube. It's called The Poet and the Muse by the Old Gods of Asgard, and I will be reading off the lyrics before we end off the stream. So basically, let's recap. Going back to the beginning of the game, Episode 1. Alan and Alice make it to a cabin. Or let's just go back even further. They show up at the diner in order to get the keys for an Elderwood cabin. The dark presence makes Stucky sick so that he cannot meet the Wakes. Instead, she gives him her key to a cabin that isn't always there. It's sometimes there and sometimes not there. I'm not going to say why just yet, because that's besides the point. Alice goes missing, and the dark presence touches Alan, basically corrupting his mind, filling it with her intention, her will. For a full week, he starts writing the manuscript pages that we have been finding throughout the entire story. He wrote it, and it was being revised and directed by the Dark Presence for the sole purpose of releasing it from whatever prison held it. It's held in a tier of reality. Think of it very much like a chthonic entity from H.P. Lovecraft. Like an entity that cannot free itself, so it needs someone else to do it for them. The only reason it senses presence is because at some point in the past, the Anderson brothers opened a crack with their music that caused it to become conscious and aware. They defeated it. There's actually an entire scene in Control in some documents talking about the battle where literally there was an entire hurricane that was summoned upon the town, and they were on their farm fighting against the hordes, but they managed to beat the Dark Presence back into submission, but it never went to sleep fully. The sane part of Alan's mind ended up realizing that everything that he was writing would end up creating a reality where not only did he die, did Alice die, but all the occupants of Bright Falls would be dead as well. So he wrote himself to be the protagonist of the story so that he had agency and the ability to navigate it. Called upon Thomas Zane, who appeared in the form of a diver. Now, the reason why it was a diver is because Alan, when we were in there at the beginning of the game, when we first went to the cabin, he found a photograph in the study of a man in a diving outfit. He also associated that with Thomas Zane because he was the previous owner. So he made him appear in that guise. Zane essentially facilitated Alan's escape a week later, but his memory was wiped. And most likely the reasoning why is because the darkness was touching him, but in game the reasoning why is so that we do not know what's happening within the own story. We're forced to navigate it like a blind character, because the characters don't know how the story is going to end at the end of the day. So the game is based upon Departure. Yeah, Departure, that's going to be based upon the hero's journey, departure, initiation, and return, those phases. So yes, this entire story is based upon the story Departure, that phase of the hero's journey by Joe Campbell. Yeah, the two Andersons fighting this is in the 70s too, so they're 40 years younger, fighting in a hurricane of Taken that are being swarmed into them, and they fought them off. They're badasses. That's why when they were taking the patients to get them to safety, they weren't freaked out by all the horrors around them. They're just like, we got this shit. Don't worry about it. This is nothing. As it kept reading, the dawned onto him there's an attempt that caught his attention. A distress signal, perhaps, if an alarm was real, so was the cause ignoring it, being none the wiser. So Alan never knew Thomas's real face. No, he never did. He's never actually even heard his real voice. And like the issue with Thomas Zane is a very complicated conversation, though, so I can't really say too much more on that. So Zane's form ever-shifting, interesting. Zane is just a character, so who he was before is irrelevant to Alan. So the reason why he portrayed him as Zane and even called him Zane is because in the first floor of the cabin, he found a shoebox full of Thomas Zane poetry and stories. He used those he borrowed upon the themes from Zane's work to incorporate them into Departure, which is his story. So Thomas Zane, he saw a portrait or a photo of the diver, so it's like, okay, well, I can use him as a wise old man figure, a mentor character, to help guide me through the plot line. Which, again, hero's journey, you need to meet the mentor. So Zane's form is ever-shifting. It's easy. He stole the manuscript after Alan. Yeah, so Zane was basically dropping the manuscript pages intentionally at specific times throughout the course of the story so that Alan would find them and know what's happening. Well, it's the very last thing that happened, Veruna. That's literally one of the last things he wrote. Jagger can't force his hand. She can only influence him and whisper into his ear, so to speak. But this is how the story unfolded. He brought Zane in. He even mentioned it during that cutscene. I am here because it was written. Delete that. Sorry, Balasai Cell. Go ahead and delete that comment. We're not at that point in the story yet. Thank you. If Alan is going to be a crossover with Control, do you think we'll be able to play as Jessie with her powers? Well, there's already been a crossover with Control in Alan Wake. He's showed up briefly in there, but we're not going to talk about that because it'll spoil this game. Or is it all going? Okay, hold on. But that one was entirely from Jesse's perspective. But we're not going to talk about any portion of that. Again, no spoilers. We're only going to be talking about this game for the most part, or minor things. For example, like bringing up the Andersons fought in a hurricane. That's not in this game. That's part of Control, but it doesn't really matter. It's part of this. Yeah, so he escaped the cabin at the beginning before he finished writing the story. So the story has no ending as of right now. And that's going to be something that's going to happen in the next episode. We'll be talking about that a little bit more. Oh, Alan Wake 2. Most likely it's going to be from Alan's perspective. I would be fine for a few other things, but we can't really talk about Alan Wake 2 too much right now. Like you said in Discord, Alan X Jesse. Oh, you're going to make him leave his wife for Jesse? Come on. Honestly, the only full ship I want to see happen is Emily Pope and Will Joyce. Because those two in a lab together, they would do the craziest shit. Let's be 100% honest. Alright, let me get some water. My voice is getting a little raw. Okay, so before we finish off, I do want to read off the lyrics for The Poet and the Muse, which is the song at the very end that told them that their next goal is to find Cynthia Weaver, the Lady of the Light. And this one is more of a story. It basically tells the entire plot line of what happened to Thomas Zane and Barbara Jagger way back in 1970. There's an old tale wrought with the mystery of Tom, the poet, and his muse, and the magic lake which gave a life to the words the poet used. Now the muse, she was his happiness, and he rhymed about her grace, and told her stories of treasures deep beneath the blackened waves. Till in the stillness of one dawn, still in its mystic crown, the muse she went down to the lake, and in the waves she drowned. So again, it's the exact same story here. Tom and Barbara aligned with Alan and Alice, the writer, the muse, she's drowning in the lake. Same start. Both characters at the exact same beginning. Now, Barbara Jagger, when she met and tried to influence Alan, was saying, hey, you can just write her back from the dead. It's perfectly fine. Well, this is exactly what Tom did. The poet came down to the lake to call out to his dear, and when there was no answer, he was overcome with fear. He searched in vain for his treasure lost, and too soon the night would fall, and only his own echo would wail back at his call. And when he swore to bring back his love by the stories he'd create, nightmares shifted in their sleep in the darkness of the lake. When you're writing a story, you can't just make contrivances. You can't just say, you know what, I want this to happen, so it's gonna happen. Thomas here wrote Barbara back from the dead to have her arise back out of the lake. But within the narrative he was writing, it made no logical sense. It had no consistency with the rules of literature that he had established. And as such, the Dark Presence took advantage of him being desperate to bring her back from the dead to tag along. In the dead of night she came to him, with darkness in her eyes, wearing a mourning gown, sweet words as her disguise. He took her in without a word, for he saw his grave mistake, and vowed them both to silence beneath the lake. Now if it's real or just a dream, one mystery remains, for it is said on moonless nights they may still haunt this place. So rather than bring his Barbara back from the dead, the Dark Presence assumed her form and came back instead. No rhyme intended, that was completely accidental. And he realized that he did not bring his girlfriend back. He brought something else. He released something. So instead, he vowed, it says right here, vowed them both to silence. He grabbed her and dragged her down with him. And the volcano exploded. At the exact same time. And that's all I'm going to say about that story until we get to episode 5. So the story needs to be logical. It needs to, exactly, Kadam. You can't just say, hey, I have superpowers, I can fly and shoot laser beams out of my eyes. You wouldn't be able to do that. As much as the power seems broken that you can just do whatever you want, just write a story and say, hey, this is what's going to be manifest into reality, it does not work like that. You have to create a narrative, and that's why Alan needs to kill people along the way. Because in a horror story, you can't just say everyone lives happily ever after, nothing bad ever happens, is beautiful for everyone. That's not how a horror story works. There needs to be death, there needs to be carnage, there needs to be people's lives ruined permanently. And someone mentioned before that Thomas Zane woke it up. The ending of this poem shows that he completely and utterly defeated the Dark Presence. And then the Andersons, about, I want to say, 6 to 8 years later, opened the door a little bit more so it could peek out again. It's bound by the world it exists in, exactly. Because I'm pretty sure everyone's watched a movie or read a book where just randomly something happens that makes no logical sense within the story, but it just happens because, hey, well, we need this to happen right now, so blah, blah, blah. Who cares about logical consistency? Coincidence that Tom looks like Zane? It's the same person. Thomas Zane. I don't understand why Thor and Odin called Alan as Tom, but Cynthia didn't. Oh, yeah, sorry, that's what you were referring to. It's possible that they had similar looks, but it's also possible they just recognized the archetype of him. Hey, he's a writer. He's got his blonde wife/girlfriend. The wife disappears. It's the same story. Cough, Marvel cough. We're not gonna talk smack at other specific properties, but I'm sure everyone with that idea in mind, there's certain movies and films or television and books that come to mind. And that's all I'm going to say there. Fire raining from the sky, dog. So really the real question comes at this point, and we'll talk about it more in episode 5. Do we think that Alan is going to fall into the exact same trap that Thomas did? Although I know where you're getting at, Veruna X, regarding Alan and Zane. I've seen no evidence to suggest that, and there's actually active information in later pieces of media that actively go against the idea that they're the same person. I don't abide by that personally, but I understand the argument. I'm just glad the Dark Presence has Alan wrote for it, so at least it makes sense. Imagine the disappointment if it was Dan Brown writing it. All right, Trey, no worries. You just take it. Have a good day, all right? Good night. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Is Zane just death? No, he was just a very naive. I don't want to say naive, because there was a manuscript page where he mentions that he was on the process of stopping everything he was doing. He wasn't going to proceed forward with writing anymore using the power of the lake, but Emil, Dr. Hartman, as we know him now, pushed him to go further and further. And as a result of Emil nudging him to start doing things, all this crap started. Emil, at the end of the day, pressured Zane to create all of this nonsense. And it's also a thing. Yeah, Zane never particularly took place in his own story, so that just shows that Alan is a lot braver as well. But Alan, at the end of the day, will have the benefit of knowing what happened to Zane, where he went wrong, so he can not make the same mistakes again. Delete that, Glenn. We're not talking about that right now. We'll have that conversation episode 5. You're moving less than 36 hours? Jeez. And you're moving state lines, right? I know you've been telling me that you're in the process of getting things ready. That's crazy. We'll talk about more about that gargoyle guy in the next episode. A character confirms that will directly address that idea. All we know is that in episode 3 at the start, when they're in the trailer park, Barry had done a lot of research and found that Cynthia Weaver, again, the Lady of the Light that the song by the Old Gods mentioned, used to be the editor for the local newspaper and had a lot of articles about a Thomas Zane, but when Barry tried to look up information about him, he couldn't find that a Thomas Zane ever existed, and nothing he'd ever written actually is out there. And they treat him like an urban legend, like, oh, this Thomas Zane, yeah, you're talking about Bigfoot, right? All the way to Denver. Holy hell, that's going to be a big one. Anyways, yeah, my voice is getting a little raw right now. Personally. Yeah, so I'm going to need to stop talking and let the stream end right here. I know it's been going on for a little bit. Barry and Langston to meet, that would be a fun conversation. And it's... I'm not saying anything. I can't make that statement just yet. Oh, God. So, yeah, I fully intend to do a full run of the Remedy series, go back to Max Payne, do Quantum Break, and do Control as well through stream. That way we can just talk about everything eventually. But I'm going to be ending this off here. You all have a good evening. Episode 5 is going to be going on this Friday at the same time, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Tao Mao, Tor and Odin crafted themselves into being gods through their music. And there's more about how that functions in American Nightmare, but you can check out my stream there and we discuss it a little bit. Anyways, good night, everybody, or good morning, good day, wherever you're at in the world. Thank you all for hanging out and conversing with me, having some fun. Take it easy. Bye-byes.